first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man.
One. Oh yeah, baby, we're here. We're here. What's going on, guys? It's Logan and EJ. Welcome back to SwampCast, man. We're live. We're live again for the first time. I think this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So yeah, man, we're here, man. Welcome to the live stream. We got a loaded segment for y'all. It's gonna be a really fun video, dude. EJ, how you doing over there in San Diego, brother?
What's up, everybody? We're out here in San Diego. The new primes, San Diego blenders, they just dropped. Get yours.
Yes, sir.
Um, yeah, man, we were at the Dodgers Padres game last night, so it's still early out here on the or West Coast. So we're excited for this podcast. There's a lot of change coming to college football. Lee Corso's retiring.
Hmm.
If you're a millennial, you like grew up with Lee Corso and like that's all you kind of know. So it's kind of hard. We're getting old. Um, so they're gonna do a tribute to him. And this year's as wide open as it's been in college football that I can remember in a long time. So super excited to look at these picks.
Oh yeah, no, dude, it is absolutely. I mean, I heard Josh Pate talking about it the other day. Like, if you look at the ESPN index, right, or if you look at the power rankings or whatever, which is based off of spread and like neutral site, games or whatever. Usually the number 1 team and the number 25 team, there's a big gap of usually like 15, 20 points, something crazy, right? But now it's at like 9 points from number 1 all the way to number 25 on the ESPN FPI ranking. So it's insane, man. It's going to be a close year. I mean, there's going to be upset after upset, and it got started off with an absolute bang for week 0, baby. A couple games we just want to go over real quick before we dive into all the changes in college football that EJ mentioned. Couple good week 0 games, really fun ones, man. A couple that really stood out to me, at least that I watched, were the Iowa State, Kansas State, Hawaii, and Stanford, and of course the UNLV game. Dan Mullen leading the Rebels there. We're gonna talk about that one as well. But the two that I watched fully was Iowa State and Hawaii. So EJ, I know you watched the Iowa State, Kansas State as well, man. What'd you think, man? Going to Dublin, Ireland. This is like the 5th year that they've done this. I think like 2nd year in a row. This same exact score, by the way, as last year's Georgia Tech and Florida State game. So that's really interesting. And yeah, man, rainy environment, really wet, led to a lot of turnovers, a lot of craziness, man. So, what'd you think, man?
So I love that they call this game Farmageddon. Makes a lot of sense. Aviva Stadium. Y'all need to figure out the moisture in that stadium because the paint ain't sticking to the grass out there. We were struggling to figure out, was it a first down? Was he in bounds? Like it was tough, but it was a great game. I was really impressed with the Iowa State quarterback, Rocco.
Yep.
He only had 183 yards, but it seemed like he had a lot more than that. And in the big clutch moments of the game, he came through, had 3 touchdowns. The Kansas State running back, I never got to check back to see if he was okay, but he got hurt in the game, so that kind of threw them off a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what happened? Like maybe I just missed it because we were at a bar and stuff, so we didn't have like the crazy audio for the game. We were just watching it. But Dylan Edwards, he fumbled the punt return, and then I just didn't see him after that. So he got hurt?
Yeah, they're saying it's a left lower body injury.
Okay.
Whatever that means. So, didn't seem like it was too much contact, but it with the way if the field was really wet and you're just trying to like mentally like how do I stay engaged in the plays without having to worry about slipping, sometimes it might open you up to an injury. So that's probably just what happened. I didn't really check to see if he's going to be back, but that's a big loss for them. He's one of their top players. But Iowa State, they covered. They were slight underdog. So that was huge for them to win that game. And they got outgained by like 80 yards, 70, 80 yards by Kansas State. And this win for Iowa State puts them huge advantage in the Big 12. Every time you can beat one of these top teams and get the head-to-head against them in that conference, that's going to really put you at the top because Kansas State's going to win a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's funny you mentioned how Kansas State actually had more total yards. Dude, I remember looking up at the screen and they had like 260 yards and they finally got their second touchdown. And I was like, how in the hell do you have 260 total yards of offense and have 7 points up on the board? It made no sense at all. And a lot of that had to do with the turnovers. I mean, literally, the game started out with 4 fumbles in the first half. Back and forth. Nobody could get going at all. I really hope Dylan Edwards is okay. It really sucked to see that man on the first play that he's out on the field. Joe Jackson, though, number 4, the running back, did play pretty well. He was averaged 4.3 yards a carry and had some really good runs. Obviously had a bad fumble after he was, got like a good 20-yard gain, fumbled the ball, gave it right back to Iowa State. But he's a guy to look after. I didn't know anything about him, and he really jumped out at me personally, EJ. I thought he played really well. Also, too, the Iowa State running back, Carson Hansen, he's like an 88 overall in NCAA. It's so funny. I was playing it last night, and I played Iowa State, and bro ran all over me like I was nothing. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense because he like jumped out at me in this game as well, man. Obviously, also in that second half, Iowa State could not run the ball at all in that first half. That Kansas State D-line was the standout unit for me from that Kansas State team. Getting so many sacks and stopping the run. I mean, they were really, they had a nice stone wall there on that D-line. And then for some reason in that second half, Iowa State just found something running the football, whether it was Rocco Becht, whether it was Carson Hansen back there, and they couldn't stop him. I mean, literally, they needed to stop there late, and they could not stop him, and they were just running all over him. So I don't know what happened, if it was a linebacker issue, not filling their gaps, or what it was, but just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Iowa State just started running the football like it was nothing. But yeah, no, I agree, man. Rocco Becht, I mean, some of the ball placement was beautiful. Avery Johnson, I know that the conditions weren't great. I know the ball was slippery. There was literally one moment when the D lineman, after they fumbled the ball, the other team, he held it up and the ball slipped out of his hand. That's how slippery that ball was. It was actually insane. And Avery Johnson, it was kind of a typical Avery Johnson game. The stats I would say looked better than how he actually performed through most of the game. He had a couple clutch moments, counting that last second touchdown to keep it within 3 there late when they were down by 10. On the run, off platform, across his body, threw a bomb over the safety. The safety had a bad angle, but still a beautiful ball right to the receiver and ran in. I mean, what a clutch moment by Avery. But once again, you have moments where he would have moments like that in the game where you're like, oh my God, most quarterbacks in college football are not making that ball or not making that pass. And then you have moments where there was so many times where he would throw the ball, especially in rainy conditions where you need to have good ball placement and have a nice touch on the ball, where he would throw bullets behind the guy or like on their shoulder, and the guy would drop the ball because it's hard to catch in those conditions. And so once again, his accuracy and ball placement, consistency, I guess, was an issue in this game at times. Whether that was the conditions, whether that is just something that is translating from last year is to be seen, but I'm really curious. But he still played decent, had a kind of a typical Avery Johnson game on the ground and, of course, through the air as well. But didn't throw any interceptions, which was an issue, throughout some of the year last year, and he did a good job not throwing any picks. So you got to give it to that. I also want a big shout out to this Iowa State, and the last thing I want to talk about, big shout out to the Iowa State receiving corps. They lost 2 guys to the NFL last year, and that's why I thought, hey, even though Kansas State's secondary is absolute trash and it was bad last year, one of the worst in their conference, I was like, you know what, they might, because there's a bunch of new Iowa State guys, they might be able to do well in the pass game and stop them, and that wasn't really the case. They still look bad, and you had tight ends catching all over them, man, especially in clutch moments there for Iowa State. I believe on that 4th down, or was it the 3rd down, where the tight end blocked and just slipped out, had a little beautiful ball, a little over-the-shoulder grab by him, another beautiful ball by Rocco Becht. Could have been placed a little bit better for a possible touchdown, but still really good job there. So, yeah, just want to give a big shout-out to the Iowa State receiving corps for kind of bouncing back after losing a lot of talent there. So Iowa State does win 24-21 there in that game.
Yeah, and Kansas State also had a lot of penalties. 6 penalties is what they had to just 1 for Iowa State. And so if I was Kansas State coach, I'd be like, throw a freaking flag on them. Like there were a couple of like holding penalties on Iowa that I was kind of like, They definitely could have thrown that, but
Oh, there was a lot, dude. I saw that
yeah,
too. It was constantly every time they run out to the outside.
yeah, and exactly. That's exactly right. I'm even envisioning one of the plays, and I was kind of like, you know, for them to only have thrown one flag on this entire team, that's kind of like I've never seen that. Because in the SEC, they're going to be throwing flags like I don't even, it's just going to be a flag. We're going to have 9 or 10 penalties per team. This is pretty much what's the average is going to be. And there were 7 total penalties in this game, but 6 of them were on Kansas State. That's that's the difference in a game when you're talking about trying to get them off of the field. And they got 19 first downs, so you only got 13 first downs in this game. That's not great. But hey, Iowa State, you've never won the Big 12. This is your chance. But you know what? My picks from last week say otherwise.
No, I just said the same thing. It's funny. I feel bad because we didn't mention Iowa State, and they're a good team that's going to be in the running. But yeah, no, they might do something. We'll see. I just like some of these other teams a little bit more. But that would not surprise me if they do make some kind of run there. Speaking of penalties, EJ, the Stanford and Hawaii game had so many, dude. I mean, Stanford committed 7 for 70 and Hawaii 8 for 70. It was just nonstop penalties. It was wild, man. But wow, what a game by these two teams. I mean, Hawaii wins on a last-second field goal, literally as time's expiring, by their kicker that is – I'm not even going to try to say his name. Actually, you know what? Just for fun, let's try it. Where's it at? Yep. Kansai Mazawazi. He is a guy that literally just learned English. He's from Tokyo. Just learned English through a JUCO college. Learned how to kick a football watching YouTube, and came over to America and gave it a shot. And this dude is absolutely insane. He hit all 3 field goals yesterday, and both extra points as well, and the game winner to walk it off. So big shout out to him, man. Love to see that. That's what the game of football is all about, baby. You feel bad for Stanford, right? They just had their first rushing touchdown. I'm not even joking. I think it was their first rushing touchdown since 2023. I'm not joking. It's like against a like a non-FCS school or something like that since 2023. I was like, huh? That's a real stat? Unreal, man. I mean, you got to feel bad for Stanford. Obviously, Andrew Luck is back there as like the GM of the program, and they honestly should have won this game, in my opinion. I think that they're the better team. I think that they should have won it, but their quarterback, Ben Branson, is not the best. Went 15 for 30, 109 yards, threw an interception straight to the defender there late to lose the game. He had a 13 QBR. Did not play the best. I do like Micah Ford, though, number 20, bro. Absolute monster there at running back. I mean, obviously, they always have really good running backs at Stanford, but bro was really, really good. But Hawaii obviously had a couple standout guys, counting their quarterback, Micah Alahudo. He's second year now at Hawaii, I believe. And yeah, played lights out. Got injured in the third quarter. Looked like a really bad injury. He was limping for the rest of the game. I'm not joking. Was throwing off platform. Was still running the football. Had a couple of big rushes there late to keep the drive going. And also big shout out to Pofili Ashlock. He's number 5 for Hawaii, the receiver. 9 receptions for 69 yards, 7 yards on average a catch, a reception, and a touchdown, a long of 25. He reminds me of like a Eugene Wilson. Like, he's very slippery as a receiver, really good hands, not afraid to be physical either, but just a slippery receiver that I don't know what year he is. He's a junior. I'm surprised that he's at Hawaii because I feel like this guy could be an absolute monster in some more explosive offenses. So just want to say keep an eye out for him because I think he's a guy who could definitely hit the portal. I mean, he is Hawaiian, I believe, so I don't know if he'll actually hit the portal, but a guy who just to keep an eye out for. Just a fun game overall. I think Stanford should have won. They had a drive there to win it. It's a tied game. You know what I mean? Like, you have an opportunity to get in a field goal range, and you throw an interception there, man, which is brutal. But yeah, big shout out to Hawaii, man, for getting it done in their home stadium.
Yeah, it was a fun game. And anytime you got a game out in Hawaii, and I'm wondering, was it at their on campus stadium? I was there in December for the Hawaii Bowl, which was super fun. But anyway, um, Kansei Matsusawa
There you go. There
kicker.
you go.
There we go. Uh, had to remember that.
That was nice. Did you Google? Did
Uh,
you Google that?
um, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Respect.
but I did hear Matsusawa on the uh in the replay. So
Nice.
there you go. Um, I- this is Hawaii's first Power Four win. The first time they've beaten a team from a Power Four conference since 2019. So this is a major victory for them. Like
Jesus.
I don't know what they drink out there in Hawaii. I think they drink Hawaiian rum, Polynesian rum. Pour it up, baby. 4 years. Um, this this game, I don't know. In the little bit that I did watch, it seemed like Stanford pretty much controlled the game, controlled the time of possession. You know, had ran many more plays, but high value explosive plays from Hawaii. That is why making big plays matters in games, because if you can make big plays, Micah Alejado, is that how you say the name of quarterback for Hawaii?
Something like that.
If you can make big plays, you're always in the game. You're always in the game, especially if it's close. If you have to run the ball for 14 times to get down to the red zone and you're scared to put the ball up in the air, um it's just you have such a low margin for error. And even though Stanford looked like the bigger, stronger team, that's pretty much the difference in the game. It doesn't really matter um, if you can't attack really quickly. And that's pretty much how I think Hawaii was able to win this game. Um, Only 286 yards total for Stanford, which was kind of surprising to me. But um, Ben Goldbranson, sorry, Goldbranson, 15 of 30 passing in this game. That ain't gonna get it done against Hawaii, a team that hasn't beaten Power Four since we had Dan Mullen. Okay, so you got to be better than 50% completion. I don't care if you're playing. I know you're playing in Hawaii. Maybe the sun's in your eyes. You can't see the receivers, but I mean, you cannot. They're not going to win a game in the ACC with that type of passing efficiency. And so they were trying to run the ball as much as they could, which they were successful. But when you go to ACC, I don't see them. I don't see Stanford winning a game. I don't see them. They're at BYU, not going to win that one. Boston College, I don't think they're going to win a game this year. They might go 0-12. So they play San Jose State,
Yeah.
which ironically was in the Hawaii Bowl last year against USF. So maybe they go ask, and then they lost at the last minute to USF in quintuple overtime. Maybe they go ask them, hey, how did you guys score? Because San Jose State can at least score. I'm telling you, not looking good for Stanford, Logan.
God, look at these ticket prices for Stanford games, dude. $9, $7. Golly. That's insane. But yeah, no, I agree. It's rough. You got to get a win over Boston College, sneak one against Virginia, get San Jose State, because after that, you're not beating Pitt, you're not beating Miami, Florida State, SMU, and you're not going to North Carolina. You're not going to beat California, you're not beating Notre Dame. They got to end the year on with Notre Dame. Poor guys. You feel bad for them.
The way they were throwing the ball, there's no hope.
No. No.
You gotta, because here's the thing, and I was gonna say this in the Gator preview, but everyone thinks that, um, you know, when you're losing games, or the mantra is you should get better as the season goes along, and I agree. And they say that when you're losing games, um, toward the end of the year, that it's because you quote unquote regressed. I don't actually don't believe in the term regression. I believe that the opponents on your schedule improved at a faster rate than you did. Because I don't think any team actively just gets worse I just think it's impossible for you to get worse. But what is possible is the teams that you're playing get better as the season goes along.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of reminds me of our team last year, right? Like we something clicked where we were all on the same page. The defense played were they knew what they wanted to do. Lagway was in tune. We just got significantly like night and day better. And that acceleration of our improvement was way faster than what LSU did. I mean, LSU was kind of like this pretty much the same team all year. And then with marginal improvements here, but we just went like boom. And let me tell you, they probably weren't expecting us to be that good. That's a part of winning some of these games is your opponent disrespects you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, when I look at this Stanford team, the main reason I'm like they ain't going to win a game is because unless they change out the court, like do something to make improvement, I just think the teams on their schedule they're just gonna get better. And as the season goes along, and they're not gonna be able to win those games.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I'll rebuild them in NCAA. It's fine. Next game we have is UNLV and Idaho State. Obviously, Dan Mullen's Rebels are out there in Las Vegas. If you don't like defense, this was the game for you, man. Idaho State. I didn't watch this one, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But Idaho State gets 555 total yards, while UNLV gets 539. Wow. But Idaho State had 4 turnovers. UNLV had 1. So Idaho State did better than UNLV in pretty much every category, but still loses because of those turnovers. It looks like, the Idaho State quarterback, Jordan Cook, 30 of 50, 380 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Their running back ran for 130 yards. It's a sad thing to see if you're a UNLV fan, man, especially me, considering I picked them to make the Mountain West Conference Championship, so they better figure something out, man. Don't let me down like that, Dan. Come on. But I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll be okay. They got a talented team. UNLV has a lot of old 4-stars that didn't really start or do anything at Power 4 schools. And so hopefully these guys can start to figure stuff out. It's his first game, full of transfers. You know what I mean? Like I told you this could happen. Remember, we talked about it last week. I was like, when you literally only have 3, I'm not joking when I say it, it's just like 5 players coming back from last year's roster. When you have that, I mean, it's literally all new guys. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So hopefully they can figure it out. But yeah, I didn't really watch too much of it. I did see some highlights. It was just an absolute offensive, crazy game.
Yeah, I was able to watch the highlights, and I was interested in just, Dan is Mullins. But here's the deal, guys. You can't give up 600 and something yards to Idaho State. Okay, Dan, you need to bring back what's the guy's name? Grantham.
Todd Grantham.
You need to bring back Grantham. Okay, you gave up. Now, why did Idaho State lose this game? Well, they lost the game because the quarterback threw 3 interceptions. Okay, tailor-made. If he didn't throw those interceptions, Idaho State would have won this game by like 14 points. They would have blown them out. Now, UNLV was running all over Idaho State. That was, Jaden Thomas, the, 70-yard touchdown run in the game. But yeah, like you said, Mullen's got a lot of work to do with rebuilding this roster. The interesting thing about Mullen is he sort of left Florida right when NIL and transfer portal started to really take its, prevail as the leading strategy. So he's still in that mindset of recruit and develop. And Mullen is a guy that likes to develop people, right? Now, you ain't gonna have time for all that. You need to plug and play. And offensively, they did a great job. Defense, plug and play on defense. Man, that was rough. They could not get, like I say, let's see what happens with UNLV moving forward, but I'm happy I didn't pick them in the conference.
Yeah, that
with that defense. Because Idaho State, folks, they're FCS. They're not even picked to be like a top FCS team. And they're just going up and down and up and down. You got to stop them. But, they weren't capable. And you're playing at home. Well,
yeah.
How far is Las Vegas from Idaho? I mean, it's probably not even that far. So, there you go.
Yeah, fun game, man. UNLV does get it done, though. So, at least the fans can take a deep breath. Shout out to the back office. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome to the stream.
Yo.
If you got any questions, by the way, go ahead and drop them. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some of the changes. That's kind of it for the week 0 talk there. Let's talk about some of the changes coming to college football. So the SEC schedule moves up to 9 games a year and requires one out-of-conference Power 4 opponent a year as well. I think it's the same structure in the sense of that we're going to have 3 of the same opponents always, and I don't think they announced that yet, but for me, I don't know if you have any difference in opinion, EJ, but I think definitely Georgia, definitely Tennessee, and I want LSU as well. If I can get, that's a dream, right? If we can get those 3, I'm a happy guy. Do you have any other 3 teams, or is that the same for you?
I think it's definitely 100,000 infinity% going to be Georgia. And I think it's going to be Tennessee or LSU. And then they're going to pick like South Carolina or somebody. Because here's the deal.
Auburn would be cool.
Auburn? Yeah, we like never play Auburn. We play Texas A&M like every other weekend. I feel like I'm playing Texas A&M. But the reality is Georgia, Tennessee, LSU are perpetually good teams. And when they make these schedules, they do so with respect for the immediate past few years and where they think those teams are going to be in the next few years, which is why when you looked at the Big Ten back in the day, they put Ohio State and Michigan. It was like the Big Ten, the other division of the Big Ten was like terrible. And because it was back in the day when they made those divisions, Wisconsin was pretty good. In the SEC, they got rid of the divisions, which I absolutely hate. I actually really like the divisions. But people say, well, the SEC West was so good. Yeah, but the East was kicking their butts for 10 years. So it's going to be very flip of the coin to figure out who the top 2 teams are. But yeah, real quick, I think it'll be Georgia, either Tennessee or LSU, and then probably South Carolina, like one former Eastern Division team, just to make it like quote unquote easy. Because if you get Mississippi State, Auburn, and Vandy, let's say those are your 3. How the hell that's not fair. Now we have to play like the top 3 teams in the SEC every year. So that's why I think they're probably going to give us South Carolina or Vandy, but I want those teams that you just said, but who knows?
Yeah. No, that's the dream. That's definitely the dream. So that's interesting there. Big Ten's been crying about it for a long time, even though that, I would say that the bottom of the Big Ten is 10 times worse than the bottom of the SEC, but that's a story for another time. Another thing coming into this is just something that I just want to touch on real quick. There's been a lot of talk of the SEC and Big Ten wanting to expand. So they're wanting to expand the playoff once again, which I absolutely hate. If you guys know me, EJ, we did a video, I think, talking about our expansion kind of structure that we would want. My dream is 8 teams. If we can get 8 teams, I think that's perfect. I think that's great. It keeps the regular season fun and meaningful, but also gives us a really fun playoff, right? Especially when you look at the past and how some of those teams did get left out and they should have made it. Now, they're wanting to go to 16 teams and maybe even into the 20s. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into that. They have to make it. The SEC and Big Ten have very different opinions on how to go about this, and we're going to dive into each one. They need to be for it to take effect next year for the 2026 season, going into 2027. That's a crazy number to say. They have to make an agreement by December 1st or December 2nd, I believe. So we'll see if they do that throughout the season. So we'll keep an eye on that as the season goes along. We'll keep you guys updated, and if they do make a decision, we'll be the first to break it and jump on and do a podcast for sure. But here, let's talk about the SEC structure is 16 teams. You want to go to 16 teams with the 5+11 model. What's the 5+11 model? Well, there's going to be 11 at-large spots with 5 conference champs. So the 5 conference champs is obviously the 4 of the Power 4, SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12, and then the highest group of 5 team, kind of like how Boise State was last season. And then, like I said, the rest of the 11 are just at-large spots. So the highest seeded teams under those. The next one's up, I guess. I think that's fun. A lot of people are against it, like Josh Pate and some of these other ones. I think that's kind of interesting. There's could be too many SEC teams in there. I understand that, but at the same time, I feel like if they have the hardest schedules, if they played the best games, you know what I mean? Then why not have more SEC teams in there than some of these? Or same thing with Big Ten, right? If you have a team like, some of these Big Ten teams have tough schedules, right? And so, like, Ohio State doesn't have a soup. They got some tough games in there. And so, if they lose some of those games and go, I'm not saying they're going to go 10-2 this year. I'm just saying hypothetical. I still think, and if they don't win the conference championship, I still think that they should be in there, right? If they have a tougher schedule. So I don't know. I think I personally like that. EJ, how do you feel about that model?
Man, let me tell y'all. So the reason, back to what we were saying before, the reason why we went to this 9-game format is there's going to be in the playoffs, which I agree with this, schedule strength, a metric that puts weight on your strength of schedule to select playoff teams. So playing one more SEC game is going to help your strength of schedule. But the issue is it's going to create for half the conference, 8 teams are going to have one more loss. So if they're going by the philosophy of, well, you're 10-2, even though you played absolutely nobody, you're going to go to the playoff. So the strength of schedule will hopefully overweigh that. Just like in college basketball, no one talks about losses in college. Like, you can be a 10-loss team and be a number 3 seed, because if you beat a lot of ranked teams, they're going to rank you high. And then also the money. So I think they're going to get $5 million per school, which, hey, pay me $5 million extra dollars. I don't have to go to a playoff. Money.
Right.
So anyway, my thing is the SEC, ACC, and the Big 12 are supporting the 5 conference champions plus 11 at large. That's what they want. The Big 10, what the hell are you guys doing? They don't like this. Now me, here, and I've always said this, very, 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 very rarely, almost never. Yeah, almost never. in some sort of committee-based objective poll, is the best team in the country ranked outside of the top 4? Very rarely. Now, people say, well, Ohio State won it last year. Yeah, they were like number 7 because of the way they did the rankings. They had to put Boise State up there at number 4. And anyone with a brain cell before the year 2023 knows that there's no way Boise State was better than Ohio State. But anyway, look at basketball, for example. They have 68 teams in their tournament. If you're a number 1 seed, you're considered one of the top 4 teams in the country. In the last 30 years, check the math on this. Last 30 years, you know how many times a team that was a number 1 seed won the championship? 23 out of 30. You know what that means? It's the other 65 teams they put in there aren't good enough to win the championship. So you could really just say, okay, the top 4 teams. That was very pronounced this past year when the top 4 seeds made the Final Four. So you definitely had the 4 best teams in the playoff. The only reason you want to expand beyond that is it's a spectacle. You know, smaller teams that aren't going to win the whole thing can get an upset, this, that, and the other. I'm completely 100% against a 24-team play. I mean, are you kidding me? The Big Ten has lost their minds. They're trying to succeed from the union. Someone needs to check them. I can't. This is ridiculous. First of all, there's only 133 teams in the nation, people. To have a 28-team playoff means that like a quarter, 25% of the teams automatically just make the playoff by not even just by the numbers. You don't have to earn anything. You don't have to beat anyone. You're just in the playoff. It doesn't make any sense. You have to be able to win some of these games. Then the other thing is the reality with that is the regular season will become very similar to the NFL. Okay. No one really watches these games in the NFL unless it's like one of the top 2 teams in each division. They're going to play, then, we're going to watch this game. In college football, when they had the BCS, where they only picked 2 teams, or even when they picked only the 4 teams, every regular season game mattered because it was basically a playoff game. Like if you lost, you were done. So not emphasizing the regular season, I think, is really bad for college football. And then 28 games, that's like an extra 5 games that you're gonna have to play if you win the championship. How the hell are you supposed to? That's like half of the season is now in the postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, I already hate the NBA playoffs because I'm kind of like, okay, dude, just best of 3. Why are we playing 7 games? Best of 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. You don't want a 1-game scenario. I get it. The Olympics. Look at the Olympics. Win they do have double elimination that second time, but hey, win, go home. Or no, win, you stay in, lose, you go home. That's how it should be. Everything, 1 game, let's do this. I personally, I think an 8-team playoff is my ideal if I were to just pray to our Heavenly Father to give me a playoff that actually is fair. That's what I would pick. Outside of that, if people are like, well, we want to make money with millions of dollars and this, that. Yeah, you want to make money. How much money do you think the fans have to pay to go to these playoff games? It's going to be ridiculous. 16, no more than 16. I'm with the 5 plus 11. And you rank the teams objectively. You don't get an automatic bye just because you won the ACC.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think conference champions should get an automatic bid. That's just like college basketball. And then you're seeded based on how good you did throughout the year. And the strength of schedule should outweigh the number of wins you have. And that's how it should go. And the Big Ten, I don't even know what they're arguing for. I don't even know what their rationale is. Do you know what their rationale is? Like,
I don't know. I mean, let me just get to the specifics of the 2018 playoff. Their model is the SEC gets 7 automatic bids. The Big Ten gets 7 automatic bids.
that is crazy.
The ACC then gets 5 automatic bids. Big 12 gets 5. The group of 5 gets 2, and then there's 2 at large. So what you do is they're going to get rid of conference championships, which honestly, I kind of agree with how it's like the conference championships mean nothing now. Even with the 12 or the 12 team, then you go to 6 team, it's dumb. Like it literally doesn't mean anything in my opinion anymore.
So the regular season. So how would that even work?
It's probably just gonna be like where you're seated at the end of the regular season. So like just I don't know. I think this is what I think they're gonna do. I think you take the top 7 teams from each conference, and then you just like let them play. So there's like a mini tournament. So whatever's the highest, it's whatever's like the high. Now my favorite part, I will say, of this model is that there's gonna be some dope ass home games, and you know what I mean. Like imagine like Florida, playing Georgia home in an elimination game, you know what I mean, or us going to Georgia, like Athens. Like there's some really cool scenarios here, and I do think that's fun. But like, I just don't like the fact that you can be the number 1 team in the SEC, and then you're playing you haven't even made the playoff yet. You're just doing the SEC tourney, right? And then you lose and you're done. It doesn't like. I feel like then what's the point, like you said, of the regular season then? You know what I mean? Like you're gonna start sitting guys out knowing you're gonna make the tournament anyway, toward the end of the season.
Well, so basically they're saying it's going to be like the NFL,
Yeah.
where you just have the top 8 in the AFC is the start of the playoffs, and the top 8 and the NFC are the start of the playoffs, and then eventually the champions will meet.
Yep.
You win the conference championship right before you play in the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see it too. There's some good here. There's some really fun games that are going to come out of it, but you're sacrificing the regular season, and that's what I personally don't like. I'm with you, EJ. I don't like the 12-team playoff. I don't like the 16-team playoff. I don't like the 24 or 28-team playoff. 8 is perfect for me, but they're going to expand. They're going to expand. So it's just, what do you expand to? And I think that the SEC is not going to budge. I think the SEC would probably win over the Big Ten with making that decision, and I think a 16 team is going to happen very, very soon. How that structure is going to look like, I don't know, but I do think we're going to get a 16 team soon, and that sucks because I think the 12 is like the max that you can go before it starts really getting bad, and yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, there's some fun things that can definitely come out of this. It's very NFL like, but I'm personally not a fan of it.
Yeah, so, the SEC going to 9 games, it kind of negates the Big Ten's main argument that we play more conference games, so we should get more at-large teams. But I was just looking it up. So December 1st is the deadline. They got to make this agreement, or it's going to stay at 12 through 2031, like you were saying. So,
through 2031.
Yeah, through 2031.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
damn.
So. But 28 teams is like March Madness, basically, but for football. But the thing is I don't know. It's just, to me, if you're going to say, well, the top 7 are in the playoff, well, all conferences aren't equal. The NFL, at least you can theoretically say, everyone has the equal opportunity to be good. You know what I mean? Like, based on how money is distributed, based on how, all that. In college, there's still disparities because look at Texas Tech. They're digging up the oil money from 150 years ago to pay for all these players. Stanford isn't doing that, even though Stanford probably should be. They're in Silicon Valley. Why don't they have money? So I don't even understand what the Big Ten is trying to accomplish, because at the end of the day, yes, you have 20, or they have 18 teams. You have 18 teams. The SEC has 16. Just if you're better, you're going to continue to win national championships. But here's the funny thing about that Big Ten, and this is what people don't want to talk about. Joel Klatt, Big Ten's the best conference in the nation. They're so much better than the SEC. They've won 2 straight championships. Here's the deal. Think about this. Since 1990, how many champions have we had? We had 30. I think the SEC has had like 21 of those championships. The Big Ten has had 5. So right there, who's better now? And then here's the other thing. Of those championships that the SEC's won, it's been by 6 different teams. Okay? 6 different teams have won it. Who's won it in the Big Ten? Ohio State's got 3. Michigan's got 2. No one else has even come close. And here's the other ugly truth, Big Ten. If we had 12-team playoff back in when we had Spurrier, we would have been bombs over Baghdad over half your teams. Urban Meyer, 2005. Yeah, we weren't that great. 2009. What's a majigger? Mark Ingram ran over us in the SEC championship game. But guess what? If we would have had a 12-team playoff, let them go play Ohio State and get knocked off, and then guess what? We're probably winning the championship again. So these people think that, oh, the Big Ten's so great. If you're so great, why can't anyone but Michigan and Ohio State win anything? And then you had to go pull Oregon out of the rabbit out of the hat to see if they can do something. Half the people over here in California still think they're in the Pac-12. So here's the reality. The SEC is better. They're playing chess. Big Ten's playing checkers as usual. You need to just stop with the insanity, stick with the 12 teams, and let's move on. Now, hey, if 28 games, if you're going to make the games free for us to go to, or at least a substantial discount, which is not going to be because it's all going to go black market, it would be great. But could you imagine? Like, I was looking this up the other day. If you're an Alabama fan from 2016 to 2022, that's just 6 years. Okay. How much money do you think you spent on going to the SEC championship game, going to the Rose Bowl, doing all these? It was like $40,000 if you did everything. Now, double that because you're going to double the number of games. Who's got $80,000? Look, no one's want to spend that money. Who the hell are going to these games? Me and Logan will go.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sponsors.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
12 teams. Let's stick with it.
I agree. I don't think we're probably not going to stick with it, sadly, but I do agree. I think this is good. Yeah, Big Ten. I like some of the things there. I think there's a lot of fun games are going to come out of it, but I don't like it at all. So that's kind of all the new stuff. Yeah. Anything else that's been really popping recently that you've seen?
No, that's it. And we do want to give a shout out to the big news is Lee Corso. They're gonna do College Game Day in Tallahassee.
Wait, what?
I think that's what I heard. Yeah, I think it's gonna be in Tallahassee for
Lee Corso.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alabama, FSU.
Oh my! Oh,
So-
why, they don't deserve that. I mean, Lee does, but golly, oh my God! All right, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, so let me just make sure. That's what I was hearing on.
It's not like there's 2 other, top 8 matchups, but
Oh, okay. So it says it will not be in I don't know. I could have sworn I heard them say they were going to be in Tallahassee. Um,
There might be
uh,
something else, maybe.
yeah, so I think they're gonna. It would be silly for them to not be in Columbus for Ohio State, Texas, but
Yeah.
I thought I heard they were going to be in Tallahassee. We'll have to keep monitoring that, people. We'll let you know online, but at the end of the day,
Yep. Yep. That's what it says. It's going to Columbus.
okay, it's going to okay.
Yep.
Um, so I could have sworn yesterday when we were watching the pregame that they said, "Oh, we're going to be in Tallahassee for a game day." So, but anyway, Lee Corso's been around for forever. Um, you know, he's an icon. He's like the Dick Vitale of college football. Um, he's it's gonna be hard to see him, you know, go off into retirement, but it's time.
Mhm.
It's time for him to, for us to celebrate him and him to get some much needed rest. College football, great because of him. So, um, he debuted. Um, I want to say the year after I was born. So he's been there forever.
Golly.
1987.
Jesus.
So
What a legend.
can you believe that? Like throughout I remember the 90s, um, watching College Game Day was just iconic. Him and Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit.
Yep.
That was just, and then it created like this cult following where the people with the Washington State flag would go everywhere, and Gainesville would just turn upside down for College Game Day. We'd all have to be up at like 5 a.m. to
Yeah.
get to the site, so you get a good spot. So yeah, so good job, Lee Corso.
Yes, sir. I love it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our conference, or not conference, our college football playoff predictions here, man. We have the brackets. We're gonna put that on the screen for you guys right now. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's actually jump to that. There we go. All right, EJ, we're gonna go over your bracket first. I don't know if you have it pulled up on your screen, but we have it on ours. So if you just want to kind of go through, or do you have it pulled up?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if you just want to go through it, your picks, why they're there, why you have, Texas going all the way. Go into it.
Guys, I wanted to make some different picks here, but I just went with objective logic here because it could go I feel like this is going to be completely blown up, but here you go. So I really believe in the whole Josh Pate. He says this every year. Don't criticize my picks if you didn't have the guts to make picks before the season started yourself, right? So hindsight 2020. So I do have the top 4 teams as Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, and Clemson. I think Clemson will just be in the top 4 because I don't see them losing more than a game. They might actually be undefeated. I think so I'll go 4-3. I think, they've just got some great talent. They've got some good culture. I think they're ready to go. Adam Randall, their running back. Randall, I really like him. Ohio State, here's the deal. Julian Saiyan is the chosen one, Super Saiyan. So we'll see what he can do. I really like the fact that he's got Jeremiah Smith who can bail you out of anything. Just throw it up there and it's either pass interference or he's going to catch it. And their defense is going to be just way more athletic than most of the offenses they play. Penn State, I got them at number 2. Hey, Penn State, this is your chance. Don't screw it up. James Franklin needs to just have a mentality of let's just score, and then maybe we can, stop this whole conservative approach. I like Drew Aller, and then Texas. I think Arch Manning is going to end up being the real deal for them. I'm still a little bit worried about their defense, but we'll see. But that's my top four. So first round matchups, I got Boise State playing Alabama. I've got Bama moving on in that matchup. I think Bama is just way too deep. They're way too talented. Ty Simpson, I think he'll be good enough to get them back to that locomotive type of an offense. And I got Boise State being that 12th team out of the Mountain West. Your lovable Florida Gators making the playoff. Now, here's the thing. I probably should have flipped them and have us at number 8 and have Oregon at number 9. Because honestly, I think that's probably how they're going to end up if this ends up, going the way that I think it's going to go. But either way, I think we're going to beat Oregon. I think Oregon, the reason why I think they're good is because they, Dan Lanning, having that, Georgia defensive coordinator pedigree. But I still think that Florida is going to be able to beat them. We're just going to be able to go out there to Eugene and get a big time victory. Texas Tech, Notre Dame. I honestly think Texas Tech can win this game, but I'm just going to go Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is probably just going to end up in a situation where they're just too solid for Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech will need a little bit too many gimmicks, and Notre Dame will neutralize all that, and you just got to be bigger and faster than them to beat them, and I don't think Texas Tech is. Miami, Georgia. Okay, so I actually flipped a coin on this one because I honestly felt that Miami could upset Georgia. Okay? But it's at Georgia, so I'm going to go Georgia Bulldogs. All right, Bama, Clemson. Everyone
By the way, Carson Beck going back to Athens would be unbelievable. That'd be what a game. Oh man.
And based on these rankings, I kind of feel like it's either going to be Miami versus Georgia or Florida versus Georgia. Because I feel like they could easily put us at number 10. But I think what, the committee does, they're going to not be as objective in these rankings. They're going to pick the 12 teams. They're going to say, okay, these are the 12 teams. But then when it comes to the seeding, they're going to flop a couple teams around so that to avoid certain matchups. Some of them are inevitable, but like Miami, Georgia would be preferred to Florida, Georgia if it came to that. But who knows? We'll see. Maybe we end up playing Florida, Georgia 3 times because maybe we have to play them in the SEC championship game. You never know. All right, Bama, Clemson. I'm going to go Bama to win that one. Even though when you get to the quarterfinals, you're in bowl games now. So you're neutral site. I got Bama moving on. Florida versus Texas. Listen, you can't be the 8-9 because when you're the 8-9, now you got to play the 1. Even though I think we're just as good. I think we beat Texas in the regular season, but for some reason, they're going to end up beating us. I think it's a great game. Texas wins it by a touchdown. I just, I have to put it out there. Notre Dame, Ohio State. I'm going to go Ohio State again, beating Notre Dame. They beat them in the national championship game last year. They're going to beat them again in the playoff game this year. They just got too many weapons. Georgia versus Penn State. I'm going Penn State in that one. I think Penn State finally gets the breakthrough that they're looking for. All right. So now that we get to the Final Four, it's it looks a little bit interesting because I believe these are going to be rematches of the conference championship games that I have, which is that's the other thing. It's kind of like, do we really want to see rematches of the conference championship games in these playoffs? Which the 24, I mean, hey, the 2018 playoff that the Big Ten wants to do, it would avoid this, where you get to the semifinals and you have to rematch people. Um, I actually think maybe the 2018 would work if you eliminated one regular season game, you eliminated the conference championship games, and you just said there's 11 games and then the 2018 playoff. But anyway, you're going to get the conference rematch. It's super difficult for me to pick Texas to beat Bama again. But I don't know. I like Steve Sarkisian. I just think he's a better coach than DeBoer. So I'm gonna go Texas. Ohio State, Penn State. Uh, until Penn State actually can get out there and start scoring on people, I got to go Ohio State. So I got Texas versus Ohio State in a rematch of the game that we're going to see next week. Texas winning it this time. So I'm going to go Texas Longhorns to win this one. Texas is doing what we wanted Billy Napier to do, basically, which is take a program that has so much potential, lots of talent, and just create a almost like a mini professional team that is great on all parts of the ball, that recruits high-powered quarterbacks. Because if you think about it, that's why he's so good, because he's got good quarterbacks. People say they didn't like Quinn Ewers. Yeah, but he was still better than a hell of a lot of other teams they were playing. And then Archie Manning, let's see what he can do. He's been in the program now for 3 years. He's got to be good, and he's fast. He can run. So if he ends up giving you like the Joe Burrow type of performance, this is going to be a very difficult team. They're going to score a lot of points. That's pretty much why I have them, because I like the offense and I like the defensive line just coming after people, sacking everyone left and right. Texas national champs.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. No, I definitely like some of these picks. Yeah. If we can beat Oregon, man, in Eugene, oh my God, that would be unbelievable.
I'm going to that if we do.
Dude, I've told everyone, I'm like, I don't care how expensive the tickets are. If the Gators are in a playoff game, I'm gonna be there, bro. I don't care where it is. We can play in Alaska, dog. I'm there. So I love it. All right, let's go ahead and go to mine. EJ, you can pull mine up as well so you can follow through. If you have it. I know that there's a couple different people are gonna be pissed for sure. We're gonna go through it, man. I'm gonna try to explain myself. So I'm gonna kind of do the same layout that EJ did. So let's go ahead and start with the top 4 teams that I have. Top 4 teams, I have the Bama winning the SEC championship. I have Clemson winning the ACC championship. I think they're going to be number 3. I have Penn State 2, Ohio State 4. So I have Ohio State beating Penn State in the regular season. And then wait, don't I have? I don't know. Either way, I have them like rematch like 3 times. I eventually have both of them still being in the top 4 at 2 and at 4. And so I think just now with the new layout, it's way better than having, just the auto bids in the top 4 and bringing like Boise State in, which would be the case, by the way, in this layout. But I do have Ohio State up there with Penn State still making the top 4. Now let's go ahead and dive into the first round. First round, I have Boise State at the number 12 spot, group of 5 team. I think they're really, really solid. I've already talked about them last week. I think even with losing Ashton Genty, they got some really good backs, bringing back most of their team. A lot of returning talent there. I think they're going to win that over UNLV, maybe. Texas A&M is my number 5 team. I love Texas A&M. I know EJ doesn't agree. I think Texas A&M is a team that has so much talent. I talked about them last week heavily, and we can obviously they keep advancing, as you guys can see, so we'll talk about them more later. But I really like the Texas A&M team and what they have going for them. Number 9, I have the Big 12 champs in Texas Tech. I have them playing Georgia. I do like this Georgia team. You could also throw them at number 7 like what EJ did. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think Georgia's a team that I really like, but I'm worried about their offensive line. They lost a lot of their offensive line, didn't bring in any guys from the portal. Now, obviously, they've been recruiting very well, and so you got to be like, okay, a lot of these guys coming in from the program, from under these starters that did leave, they should be able to take that next step considering they were such high-rated recruits. But still, it's just a little bit scary for me, especially with Gunnar Stockton back there, a guy that I don't think I'm not big on him. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he can definitely get stuff done if he has great weapons around him and a good O-line. But if the O-line is kind of average, with this schedule that Georgia has, it's going to be really interesting, especially if he starts to lose his confidence throughout the season. And if they can't run the ball, which they couldn't last year, which we'll get into in a bit. But yeah, really curious to see Georgia, where they're going to land. But I have them at number 8. I have Georgia Tech versus Oregon. Georgia Tech traveling to Eugene. You guys know I like Georgia Tech, I think mainly because of the schedule, very easy schedule. But I have them playing Oregon. Oregon's just such a talented football team. So talented, dude. They lost a lot of guys, brought in a lot of guys from the portal, but also have been recruiting at such a high level since Dan Lanning's been there that you just got to trust that these guys are going to be good. Then we have LSU and Notre Dame. LSU, I kind of put LSU, you can flip LSU in Texas for me, by the way, but I really like, I saw, Brian Kelly going back to South Bend would be such a cool story. It would be absolutely insane. Total chaos. And I love that storyline. But you could throw Texas at number 10, and I wouldn't mind that. If you did throw Texas at 10, I actually have Texas probably moving on to play Penn State. But I have LSU there, so I think they're going to lose to Notre Dame. So let's go and go to the quarterfinals for the playoffs. We'll actually start with that Notre Dame and Penn State game. Notre Dame, they took way too long to pick CJ Carr as their quarterback. Way too long. It's kind of uncomfortable for me. And we'll get to that because we're obviously picking that game a little later on, that Notre Dame and Miami game. But that kind of scares me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I really like CJ Carr. Big, obviously highly touted recruit. Looked good, by the way, at times last year for Notre Dame. Can push the ball down the field fairly easily, especially compared to what Riley Leonard was doing. I feel very confident that this guy can be a really, really good passer. But I don't like how the fall camp's been going on, so we'll see. I do have them beating LSU because of that home field advantage, but they go to play Penn State. Penn State's just too dominant. I mean, I've already talked so much about them. Everything EJ said, I just second. I mean, they're if this is the year they're going to win it, if they're going to win it anytime in the next 10, 15 years under James Franklin, it's going to be this year. So, yeah, just such a talented football team from top to bottom. Next, you go to Oregon and Clemson. Oregon, like I said, these are neutral sites, but I do have Clemson getting the win. I really like this Clemson team. Super, super talented. It's weird that for the power rating, they're all the way down at like number 14 or 15. It's kind of weird. I don't know why they're power rated so low when they have literally the most returning talent in the country, production-wise and starter-wise, I think, in the Power 4. And also, too, a lot of the coordinators have now had a few years to really, get Klubnik where he needs to be, to get this defense where, I mean, the defense has always been really good, but this defense I think is going to take a step forward as well with TJ Parker especially, and some other guys returning on that defense in key positions, one of the best corners in the country as well. So I think they're going to get a win over Oregon and go to the playoff semifinals to play Penn State. Georgia and Bama, classic, dude. Such a rivalry game, always an absolute fun, just such a fun game, dude. But because of that Georgia offensive line, I'm not totally sure about. And because of Gunnar Stockton having to face this Bama defense, I really like this Bama team, as you guys can see. I think they're super, super talented. I think they're going to beat Georgia. It's going to be a really good game. It always is. But I do have Alabama getting the win over Georgia to go to the next to the semifinals in the playoff. I then have Texas A&M versus Ohio State. I have Texas A&M beating Ohio State because you have Julian saying, against that defense, man, against a Mike Elko defense. I don't know. I mean, obviously, listen, I know you have you have the best offensive player in the country, of course, at receiver, and Jeremiah Smith. I understand that. But Julian Saint's a young guy. He's going to have to go through these, these rough parts of the season, and it's not going to start out easy playing that Texas defense right away. And I think that he's a guy that you really have to be careful with this season to help his confidence and, not let him go down a spiral and try to force balls and get into a bad state of mind. I think that's going to happen in this Texas A&M game, and I think Texas A&M is going to get the win over Ohio State to move on to the semifinals. Semifinal game, we got Texas A&M and Bama, a rematch of the SEC championship, kind of similar to you, EJ. And I have Texas A&M falling short to Bama. I like this Texas A&M team a lot, but Alabama's just so dirty. The most talented team in the country from top to bottom, in my opinion. I really like Kalen DeBoer a lot. I think he's a phenomenal head coach, and I think he's been in this position, you know what I mean, more than Mike Elko and Texas A&M. And I think because of the lack of experience in these big games and in the college football playoff, I think Alabama's going to go and sneak a win over Texas A&M. I think it's going to be a really fun game, a hard-fought game. Playing 3 games in a row, though, for Texas A&M is going to kind of get to them, I think, and I think Bama's going to get the win to go on to the national championship. Bottom of the semifinal, we have Clemson versus Penn State. I have Penn State getting the win. I like this Clemson team a lot, but Penn State's dirty. Penn State, once again, James Franklin, this is his year to win it. I think they're gonna get the win. I think it's gonna be a really fun game, by the way. I think this might be game of the year, maybe game of the playoff as well. I think Clemson wants it really, really bad, but Penn State just wants it even more. I think they're gonna get the win over Clemson, just with these weapons they have at receiver now, with that run game, of course, with 2 of the best running backs in the country in the same running back room, which is unbelievable. I think they're gonna go ahead and get a win there to move on to face Alabama. So Penn State, Alabama, the national championship. When's the last time we've seen Penn State versus Bama? I couldn't tell you. Right? It's been I don't know. You're still muted, EJ, but
sorry.
You're good.
I can tell you Florida, Penn State, but yeah, has Alabama, but I know Alabama's played Ohio State, Michigan State. They play Michigan almost every year. But you're right. I don't remember Alabama playing Penn State for a while, or Oregon.
The last time they played was 2011 when Alabama went to State College and won 27-11. But it's been that long. I don't remember that game at all. That's such a weird one.
Yeah, did they ever make a return trip to Tuscaloosa?
It might have been a series. It was a series. Penn State in 2010 went to Tuscaloosa and lost 24-3 in 2010.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so they had a little home and home series in 2010. Okay. And
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, super interesting. But I don't remember that at all either. It's such a weird thing. I guess because Penn State wasn't really great during that period. I don't know. But yeah, Penn State versus Bama, first time since 2011 apparently. Listen, I like this Penn State team, but I think Bama's just going to be too much for them, dude. Once again, Alabama's been in this position before. Penn State has never been in the college football playoff championship. So I just don't think they're going to be used to it. I think they're going to want it, but Bama's going to this once again has a chance to be the game of the year just because both teams I think want it so bad. Kalen DeBoer trying to live up to what Nick Saban did, and then in having one of the most talented teams in the country, and then of course you have James Franklin kind of back against the wall here. They need to win this championship. This needs to be the year. I just think they fall short. I really do. Drew Aller, I think it's going to fall on his shoulders. I'm not the big Drew Aller fan. I'm not the biggest Drew Aller fan in the world. I think he's more of a game manager than he is a really big national championship type of quarterback. And I think that's going to get to him. I think we're going to see a little bit of old Drew Aller in this game down in Miami and Hard Rock Stadium. And I think that Bama's going to come out on top to win the 2026 national championship. Yeah, baby. Yes, sir. So like I said, you could flip LSU Texas, for sure. I wouldn't be mad with that. There's a couple other guys that I think could definitely slip in here for the playoff, but those are going to be my picks for the college football playoff, man. These are 2 really good brackets that are probably not going to be realistic at all. It's probably not going to be near, close to what it's going to be at the end of the season, because of how wild this year is going to be. But I think that's why I threw in some interesting teams, because just to try to, I don't know, just be like, hey, if it does happen, I could be the, hey, I predicted it, So we'll see what happens. But I do really like this Texas A&M team. I do think they're going to make a little run there.
Okay, so some interesting, very interesting. There's a little old lady used to teach us in elementary school. She used to say that. Very interesting. No Texas in your top 12.
Yeah,
So you have...
Yeah, I mean, listen, you could flip LSU in Texas. I wouldn't be mad with that. But here's my issue with Texas. I told you this, EJ. I think they have 2 automatic losses, in my opinion, to Ohio State and to Texas A&M in this bracket, right? And then you have a 3rd loss. I think they could definitely drop a game to Florida. I think there's a couple other games that they could drop as well. Do they play Georgia?
I think they do.
I think they do. They could drop the Georgia game. I could see them going 9-3. I could truly see that. And the more I look at, the more I'm probably thinking, and maybe you do flip LSU and Texas. They sneak in, then Texas beats Notre Dame to play Penn State, and they lose to Penn State in the quarterfinal. I could see that. I just don't like this Texas O-line. That's what I'm not a big fan of. And if Arch Manning does not have an O-line, you're when you put this schedule that they play, it's gonna be a long year, I think, for Arch Manning back there. I know he's mobile. I understand that, but I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Dang.
So I think they're going to be a very good team. I understand that. And also, too, the offensive line could have a lot of issues early on, but they have 3 easy games in a row that they could get it fixed before they play Florida. And so there is that as well, of when, you know what I mean, they have time to fix this O-line after that Ohio State loss, I think. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, LSU, you could flip that with Texas, because they could be a 3-loss team that sneaks in. To that number 10 seed.
Dang. Okay, so that's the first thing that I noticed. No Texas. Mm-hmm. The second thing, you're high on Texas A&M. I like that. Other people need to know Logan made these picks before Josh Pate. So for all you just copied Alabama. No, he picked Alabama before we even knew what Pate was picking.
Yep.
And wait, let me see. What was the other thing? I think that's it. I think we have pretty much the same teams, other than no Gators.
We're about to get into all that.
So okay. We've memorialized our playoff bracket. Okay, everybody. So let's see who can get the most of these playoff teams in there.
Mine's gonna be so wrong.
And let's see who wins it.
Yes, sir. All right. EJ, you want to take I'm going to use the restroom real quick. We're going to take a little break, guys. We'll be right back. And then we'll dive into season prediction time, huh? Season preview time for the Florida Gators. Let's do it. All right, we're going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back, guys.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown!
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
Oh yeah, baby. All right, beautiful. Cool. Well, now we're gonna get into the let me get this actually on your guys' screen. There we go. The football schedule for the Florida Gators in 2025. And it's ugly. Not the prettiest thing in the world. So we're gonna go through game by game. We're gonna talk about the opponent, what to kind of expect, and obviously this is going to change as the season goes on. You know what I mean? Some guys are going to look way better than what we thought, and some teams are going to look way worse than what we thought. But these are just our preseason picks. So we're going to go through. We're going to, like I said, talk about them, give it a win or a loss for the Florida Gators, and then talk about our final record and some different possibilities. So, EJ, let's start it out, man. We got game 1 this upcoming weekend. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's game week. We're here, baby. Finally here. Long Island University coming down to play the Florida Gators in Gainesville. As you guys can see, going to be a night game, 7 p.m. Love to see that down in the Swamp to open it up. Game is sold out. Was sold out last week. And so it's going to be a rowdy little... The Rowdy Reptiles will be out, baby, for sure. So, EJ, how do you feel about this game? How excited are you, man? It's game week, baby.
Man, Long Island is going to need to bring some Long Island iced teas to the game because it's going to be a long night for them. The biggest storyline for this one is DJ Lagway. We just want to see if he's going to come out and play, if he's going to get some reps, how many reps. Hopefully he just gets limited reps, but we want high quality reps. We just wanted to see him healthy. And I honestly think we've got quarterbacks, Bailey, and I really like Tramel Jones, a true freshman, that can come in and just take over the game in the second half. I would like to see our offensive line impose themselves. We don't need to really this is a run the football, control the clock, get the game over with as quickly as possible. I would like to see no mistakes. Every home opener that we've had complete egregious blunders, whether it's you got 3 or 4 special teams coaches and we don't know which number 3 we have in the game. Yeah, we can't have these mistakes. You can count on one hand how many times a Nick Saban Alabama or a Nick Saban team in general had those types of mistakes in his entire career relative to what you just saw with Billy Napier in the first few years. So clean game, run the football. Long Island Iced Teas, our FCS team. We should have been playing FAMU. They're my other alma mater, but I would have gone to the game if they were playing FAMU. But I think that's how you win this game. Just let's focus on getting reps for, it's a practice game. And I think Lagway probably throws 8 passes. And we should be able to win this game. I got us winning 52-7. I say it's going to be like, 35-0 at halftime, something like that. And then 17-7 in the second half, and we win the game.
Dude, 52 points. That'd be amazing. I think that's a great way to start the season, especially with Billy Napier. This Long Island team, I agree. I think it's obviously going to be a win for us, man. Should be something pretty similar to that. They're a team that loves to run the football. They do throw whenever they're behind, and obviously that's going to happen. So they're going to be throwing that ball a lot. Their quarterback is pretty athletic. He's got some legs on him. And obviously our defenses have never done really well with athletic quarterbacks. So let's stop him. Let's contain him. Other than that, though, Todd Bowles, the Bucks coach, his son's on this team. Todd Bowles Jr. He plays DB number 0, so look out for him. He's that's a fun little storyline there. But yeah, should be a fun game. Should be an easy win. I got this as a W too, so I love it. Great win. I agree. I think you need to see the offensive line. I want to see the interior defensive line dominate. I don't want to see this team be able to run up the middle. And I want these, and I don't just want to see the starters on the defensive line play well. I want to see these backups. I really, really want to see the depth of this defensive line shine through and everyone dominate. I think we're going to find out pretty quickly, even in this game where obviously this is an FCS team, right? I think we're going to see the depth of this team quite a bit, obviously, because the guys are going to be taken out and you're going to see a lot of backups come in. So I want to see total dominance by our backups to prove me wrong that our depth is not good. I think our depth is really a problem. So hopefully I can be proved wrong in this game. That's what I want to see out of it. So this Saturday, baby, 7 p.m. in the Swamp. I love it, man. Everyone enjoy it. I know a lot of people going, so I would if I wasn't, surrounded by a bunch of Georgia fans barking at me up here. Next game we have USF coming to the Swamp. This is going to be a 4:15 game, I believe, September 6th. USF ranked number 17th in returning offense. They had an offense ranked in the mid-40s. By returning offense, I mean production. They had an offense ranked in the mid-40s last season. Defense struggled a little bit. They weren't the worst against the rush, but is susceptible to the pass, especially if you're a team that really wants to push it down the field. Except they have the best DB in the country. And Alex Golish is the head coach of the USF Bulls. So this is a really nasty team. They like to play you pretty in a pretty gritty way. You saw that with Alabama last year, right? Now, Byron Brown, the quarterback, is coming back off of an injury. He should be good by this game. If he's not healthy by this game, I think it's going to be a pretty easy one. If he is healthy and he is ready to go, this is going to be it's going to be a little bit of a test for our defense, especially the linebackers, right? In the line to contain him, not just go crazy and leave your gap pass rushing. You got to be a little more conservative with a guy like this. That's very, very fast. That has a really good ball. Poor USF, by the way, has to play Boise State to open up Thursday. I think Boise State is going to Tampa, so that's cool. Yep. So they have a little bit of advantage there, but I think it's going to be an easy win for Boise, especially since it's the first game of the year. I feel bad, though, because they play Boise, us, and then Miami. So those poor guys, they don't get a break. Goal for me, I think, is contain Byron Brown. I think that's going to be the story of the game is our defense versus this offense, because the Bulls do have a few playmakers on this offense that can cause some trouble. So this is I like that we're easing ourselves into the LSU game, right? It's not just two cupcakes or a couple hard games. It's easy game, a little bit of a tougher game, right? It's a challenge, and then into this LSU or to Baton Rouge to play LSU that following week. So, I have us winning this game. I think it's going to be a win for us, but I think it's going to be kind of that typical Billy Napier game where it's a little bit of a weird, we're feeling them out in that first half. You know what I mean? The score might not be exactly what we want at halftime, but I think we start to pull away late and probably win something similar to maybe 31-10 or something in that area where it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's we're happy with it.
Yeah, I got the same exact thing, Logan. USF, they do have the best DB in the nation in Deshaun Rucker. We will be down there in Gainesville to watch the game. I really hope, or I would not mind if this game was actually played in Tampa. This is a return game from a couple years or 3 years ago, just because, Tampa's easier to get to when you're in San Diego, and the hotels, they don't jack the prices up to $600 a night. But at the end of the day, I completely agree with what you said. I think USF has the starter talent to keep this game within contact early. I think over the course of the game, the strategy for Florida will be Jaden Baugh and Jacoby Jackson by the mid to late third quarter. Those two guys are going to be just running a tear, and USF is it's just going to look like they just can't stop Florida at the end, whereas USF will struggle to score late in the game. And I think because of that, Florida will pull away and win. I actually got 34-17, so we're pretty much right on par there. The interesting thing about this game, Florida is just a little bit more balanced than USF. USF will throw it, I think, 58% of the time. Florida is right at 50-50, which I think gives them the advantage in the game. I also think passer rating under pressure, USF will be under a lot of pressure, but Golish is going to set the offense up to where it forces you to be good, a good tackling team in space, right? Like they're going to put the receivers on the sideline, try to focus on those lanes. And if you can't tackle and if you can't be in good position, that's how USF's going to attack you. And I think they will get an advantage on Florida early because of that. But I think eventually Florida will figure it out and come out on top. Um, Remember, USF was playing with Bama way into the fourth quarter, and then Bama just scored 3 touchdowns super late to make it look like they were easily controlling that game. But it could end up like that.
100%. So just wanted to keep an eye on, but we both have a win there. So now after that, the week after is when the schedule gets fucking insane. We go to Baton Rouge to play LSU, baby. Week 3, first road game test, September 13th. It's a night game. It's a gold game. It's a gold out game for LSU. First time they've done that in a long time. First time they've done that to versus Florida since 2011. We won't talk about that game. This LSU team's a scary team. Listen, I mean, Baton Rouge, in my opinion, is a top 3 environment, especially when they play Florida, especially when it's a night game. It's Baton Rouge is unbelievable. All those Cajuns, they eat their crawfish pregame, they roast the gator, and they're kind of wild down there. The talent on this team is unbelievable. Brian Kelly's back is against the wall. I think his back is going to be even more against the wall because I think Clemson's going to beat LSU this Saturday night. Yeah, a little sneak peek, And I think that their back's going to be against the wall. I think they're going to have to win this game. They have some of the best playmakers on defense in the entire country, especially and on the edge positions, counting what's his name that left us? His name slipped my brain. What's his name? Pyburn. There you go, Jack Pyburn. And I mean you'll have Weeks coming back as well at the linebacker position. Perkins is being put in another position. Bro's been moved around all over the place. I wouldn't surprise me if he's playing quarterback by the end of the year. But he is now playing more of a DB, kind of a nickel. It's really interesting. And he's a big guy, so that's interesting. He's playing a nickel position with his size that he has. But that's terrifying. They obviously listen. I think the key for the Gators in this game is make Nussmeier uncomfortable. Okay. The offensive line is a big question. They didn't really hit the portal for the offensive line like I thought they would. They lost a lot of guys to the portal from the offensive line. And so they're going to have to rely on a lot of, kind of like Georgia, right? On a lot of guys that are just in the program. That's interesting because especially with the pass rush that we're going to have with Sapp and Gums and some of these other guys, right? If we can make Nussmeier uncomfortable, he's going to hit some bombs on us. He's going to score points. We know that. If we can make him uncomfortable late, maybe throw a few turnovers like last year, right? I think the Gators can go in here and get a win. I just don't like that this is the first road game that we're going on. I don't like that LSU's back's going to be against the wall after maybe a week 1 loss against Clemson. I have LSU beating the Gators in Baton Rouge, first loss of the year. I think that it's going to be a shootout. I think DJ is going to play phenomenal. And the run game is going to be great. But I just think the talent on this team and their back being against the wall, first gold game in a while, first gold game against Florida since 2011. I think it's going to be a loss, but I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I have LSU getting a win here.
Oh, all right, guys. Here's a funny stat for everybody. Going into the 2019 season, the Gators had a 33-29 series advantage over LSU all time. 33-29. LSU then proceeded to beat us 5 years in a row, including the freaking shoe toss, to take the series lead 34-33. How the hell did we let that happen? Then last year, we were able to get the win, and so the series is tied 34-34. I cannot articulate how, even though they won 5 games in a row, how much of a coin flip this game has been the last 10 times we've played them. Even when they had Joe Burrow. Like, that was the LSU fans will tell you. The Florida game in the regular season was the game outside Alabama where it was like we were definitely supposed to win, but I was like, oh my God, I'm on the edge of my seat, Florida's going to win this game. Here's the interesting thing. So in PFF, they do the ratings for players, and if you're 70 and above, you're supposed to be significantly above average contributor. So here's the funny thing. LSU's offense has 5 of those players, starters. Florida's defense has 5 of those players. LSU's offense has 4 players. Florida's defense has 4 of those players. So it's not really that LSU has a significant advantage in terms of folks who actually contribute. It's the perception that these guys that they've brought in are higher rated recruits and this, that, and the other. I agree with that. Here's the deal. Chester and Adams, on the left side of this line, are replacing, I forgot the guy's name, but they're replacing some guys on the LSU offensive line.
Yep.
I think that's going to be a big time problem for LSU in this game. Main reason, when you look at the throwing, LSU is not a balanced team. They throw the ball 66% of the time. 2 out of every 3 plays is a pass. You know what that means? All out blitz every play, baby, because guess what? One of them is going to be a pass. LSU's got to be able to run the ball to beat us. And I think that is going to be the difference in the game. I really like Anderson, the wide receiver. I think he's great. But if Devin Moore can stay healthy, I think that's going to be a great matchup for him. I like the Florida defensive line to come off that edge and get some sacks in this game. And I think when Florida has the ball, I really like us. Now, Gooden, the defensive tackle or defensive end, is really, really good for LSU. We got Austin Barber. We got Lovett. People aren't talking about him. He's good. We got Slaughter. I just don't think the LSU D-line is going to be that much is going to be able to stop us enough. I think this is going to be another wild, crazy, who's got the ball last. Gators 35, LSU 33.
That'd be amazing. That would, I mean, I agree. It's funny because, I started really watching Gator football back in like 2014, 2015. I was like around 10 years old. And every single year the LSU game has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. Whether it's the goal line stop in Baton Rouge in my opinion, the ugly all orange uniforms, which was unbelievable. At least it was ugly when you mix it with that, the gold of LSU. It was just ugh. Or whether it's the Joe Burrow pick 6 to Brad Stewart there, which I was at in the Swamp in 2018, for the Gators to win it. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I agree. I think there's a big chance the Gators can win. I think there's a big chance the Gators can lose. I agree. It's a coin toss, probably the biggest coin toss in the entire year. Is this game. And if the Gators can win this game, then the momentum is totally shifted. My opinion on the year is totally different. But I think that this loss kind of makes the Gators take a step back, and it hurts a little bit. But so I have a loss, you have a win. I don't have a score, but it's going to be very close. It's going to be a 1-score game, I think. It's definitely going to be a 1-score, maybe a 6-point game. So I'm there with you, EJ, on that. The next game we play, we're going all the way to down to Miami Gardens to play at Miami, a game that I'm thinking about going to. If I'm home by then, I should be. So we'll see. Miami, a team that everyone's hyping up, that team that we want to get revenge for. They came into Gainesville and destroyed us last year, which I was at that game, and that really hurt. So maybe I shouldn't go this year. But yeah, a team that is getting a lot of hype. Carson Beck is now leading the Miami offense. They have some nice pieces on the offensive line. Big question, though, is who the hell are they going to be throwing to? They brought in Keelan Marion from BYU, I believe, and CJ Daniels from LSU. But my big thing is, I know you're a lot more confident in Carson Beck than me, EJ. I don't think he can consistently push the ball down the field. There's been multiple times during his Georgia tenure, I understand it might be the system, but where he would just force the ball down the field in horrible situations and throw interceptions. And there's a big picture going around on social media right now of Carson, of it was like one Miami receiver jumping up to catch a ball, and there's 3 DBs all surrounding him. Bro threw it up into triple coverage again. I don't know. I mean, whatever. And then all the Miami fans were like, "Oh, it's ball placement. Get out of here." I think I'm not a big fan of Carson Beck. I'm really interested though, EJ, to see this defense, especially with a new defensive coordinator coming in and them attacking the portal for the secondary. They're bringing in a lot of DBs, a lot of guys for that, that kind of backfield for the defense. So I'm really curious. They have a couple of weeks to really prep for this game. In this crazy wide receiver core and group that we have, and of course DJ Lagway. So if Miami is anything similar to what they were last year in the secondary, DJ Lagway is gonna have a great day, dude. We're talking like wild numbers. Probably, because he was not playing the whole Long Island game, he could probably have the best passing game yet against this Miami secondary if they're anywhere kind of close to what they were last year. If they do take a step forward, which I do believe that they will. I think it's going to be a tough game early on. I think it's going to be a game that we talked about this for the season preview. Not jumping into every game, but like talking about the depth chart and stuff and the goals that we are aiming for this season. EJ, turnovers need to happen this season if we're going to win some of these games. If we're going to want to beat LSU, we have to either make them fumble. Maybe sack Nussmeier off that, left side. That's the struggle on the offensive line on his his backside, and sack him, do a strip sack, something. In this Miami game, I feel like the turnovers are going to be even more important. The defense has to step up, has to put the offense in good field position, put them in good situations, and I think that's what they're going to do. I think Carson Beck's going to throw a few picks. I think the Gators are going to come out with a win in Miami and bounce back after that LSU loss.
Hey, I love to hear it. So we do play USF. USF will play Miami the week before we play them. So hopefully USF will get in there and rough them up a little bit.
Tell your nephew to get in there and lay down some hits.
Yeah, he needs to get in there and just rough them up. One interesting thing, though, we'll have some good film on both teams. By the time you get to this 4th game, both teams will have enough tape to be able to have a really good game plan. I think this will be the first game where both teams will have – this is going to be like the season starts. Miami opens with Notre Dame at home. That's going to be an interesting game. And it's going to be a game that we can leverage from a analytical standpoint. They only have 4 true road games on their schedule this year, which is insane. Like, they got 8 games at home. The thing about this game, I don't think it's a significant home field advantage for Miami. Playing at Hard Rock, I think Florida will probably has as many fans as they will in this game. So I'm not looking at that being a significant home field advantage. When I look at these wide receivers for Miami, Trader, Tony, Daniels, I'm not really convinced that they are dynamic enough to really test the Florida DBs in ways that you will see with Texas and even the week before LSU. I think the difference in this game is I do think the Miami offensive line will give back more time than the LSU offensive line will for Nussmeier. So LSU's got better receivers, better quarterback, worse offensive line, will be creating pressure. This game will be about coverage and stopping the run. Fletcher Jr., I still think, is a good running back for Miami. And I still give the advantage to our defensive line in this game. This game will also come down to one key matchup. I think it's the linebackers against this tight end that they have, Lofton. Carson Beck, as you know, loves a big, strong tight end. Y'all remember that one guy at Georgia, just freaking Brock Bowers,
and then Oscar Delp.
He would just throw to them just like it's nothing, and and I think that's what Carson Beck probably was like. When I'm going there, you got to have a good tight end. And Elijah Lofton, they're bringing this guy in. He's going to be a tear, and I think he's going to be the matchup problem for our linebackers in this game. We got to be able to cover him, but that's going to be the matchup problem. I honestly, when I'm looking at the player by player by player, if we stand up a solid rushing attack, which I do think the Miami defensive line is really good. I mean, Bain and Moten are the two, and the other two guys are really good too, but those two in particular, this is going to be a more difficult game running the football. And I think more pressure will be on Lagway to throw the football. We're going to have to throw intermediate routes, intermediate passes. I think that's how we win this game. And I actually think when you watch this game, it's going to be, people are going to say, oh, Florida looks like the better team. And I think as a result of that, by the end of this game, we are going to be controlling it. I like Florida. I actually like us to win a little bit more comfortably than y'all think.
Ooh.
At least in the preseason. Yeah, things can change when we get back to
if they go in and destroy Notre Dame, it's a problem.
Okay, right. If they beat Notre Dame 52-7, then all bets are off. But 40-28.
Damn.
Gators.
Damn, EJ. I like it. I can see more of a score of 31-21.
Okay.
But I like that. Dude, if we win like that, I mean, you do have us in the playoff though. So I
got us in the playoff. Revenge.
Yep.
And we're a spot ahead of them because of head-to-head.
I respect it. We have a bye week after Miami. We can kind of recover, especially we both have wins for Miami, obviously. So going into the bye, we can kind of recoup ourselves, and we're gonna have to, because October 4th, I'm gonna be at this game. The Texas Longhorns, probably the number one team in the country at this point, depending on what happens. They'll at least be top 5 for sure. Especially those easy games that they have. The only tough game they have before that, I believe, is the Ohio State game opening up. They're coming down to the Swamp, man. It says it's a flex. It's either going to be 3:30, 4:36, or 8. It's probably going to be 8, or 4:30 prime time. I think that's the prime time now for ABC or whatever. Man, this is the game that everyone's kind of circling. This has the if we, EJ, you don't have a loss yet. So if we beat, what is this? We got Miami and LSU. If we beat Miami and LSU, we're a top 7 team, right? We're probably top 5. We're up there somewhere. Especially if we.
We gotta be top 5.
Yeah, we're top 5. Texas will be top 5. It's a top 5 matchup. When's the last time there was a top 5 matchup in the Swamp? Genuinely. It's been a long, long time. We've played Alabama. They were the number 1 team, stuff like that. And we had a top 10 matchup, I believe, against Auburn, right? We were number 10. They were number 7 or something like that. But a top 5 matchup. And that Auburn game broke some of the decibel records in the Swamp. The attendance record. It was unbelievable. This has a chance to be one of the best games in the Swamp ever. This has a chance to be especially if we're both undefeated going into this game, this is probably going to be one of the loudest games in the Swamp ever. Next to, 2006 South Carolina when we had the cock block. This is probably going to be the loudest game of all time. Man, listen, let's talk about this Texas team real quick. Very talented football team. Arch Manning coming in here, obviously. Wide receiver room, I think, is secretly one of the best in the country. No one's really talking about this wide receiver room too much, but I think they got some absolute dudes in that wide receiver room. Defense is pretty stout, obviously, like they always are. Great production returning there. They hit the portal heavily for that defensive line. When really they didn't need to. I mean, obviously, you want to get guys that have more experience, not too many program guys, but God, they hit it hard, dude, to get some guys in there. The question is the offensive line, right? The offensive line is a group who, in fall camp, from what we've been hearing, they've been struggling pretty bad. Now, that might just mean the Texas D line is just fucking unbelievable, right, and insane, and that's why they look like trash. But apparently they're struggling a little bit. And if that's the case, Arch Manning is going to have a couple of rough games, whether it's Ohio State, right, with that line that they have and those guys coming in, whether it's Texas A&M, Georgia, you're playing some of the best fronts, and even Florida, some of these edge rushers we have, man. So if the Texas offensive line is struggling, this is a really interesting game. Now, like I said earlier, they do have 3 games, I believe, in a row of easy-ass games. And so they can easily, switch guys around, try new guys at new positions, and they have that time, which I really don't like that for us. So I do think that they'll figure out the offensive line a little bit. I do think that they are very talented, so they should be able to take some kind of step forward there. Let's see what else I have here. I think that's pretty much it for my overview on Texas. It's a very talented team, and coming in here in the swamp, and we have 1 bye week, but they pretty much have 3. And something you talked about, EJ, right? These guys literally after the first game they prep for us for a whole month, basically, right, leading up to this. I don't like that at all. This game is a coin flip for me. I think this is a game that the Gators could easily win with the home crowd and DJ Lag. I could just feel that energy right now, dude, going to the fourth quarter singing "I Won't Back Down." But I could also see us struggling and our secondary having issues and depth issues. Are we still healthy at this point? We just played really 2 tough physical games in a row. 3, if you want to count USF, because they're going to be pretty physical, but 2 really tough games in a row. Are we going to be healthy in the secondary? Are we going to be healthy up front on the D-line? That's going to be big. The key to this game is to make Arch Manning throw the football, stop the run game, don't let them be balanced. Because if Texas is going to be balanced on us, it's going to be an issue. Force Arch Manning to throw the ball down the field, try to contain him, don't let him use his legs too much. Because if you go back to the UTSA game and the stuff that he played in last year, he really likes to use his legs early to get comfortable throwing the football. He likes that. He likes to be mobile. That helps out his pass game a lot. Contain him, make him forced to throw the ball down the field. Hopefully our safeties can get back there and do their thing. And if the turnovers are better this year up to this point, like I feel like they should, which we talked about, I think the Gators should keep this a 1-score game. I have Texas, though, getting a win in the swamp. I feel like they're a really good team. I feel like they're going to catch us off guard, and I just feel like some of the injuries at this point, I feel like I don't like the depth, man. If we had better depth, I'd be really, really, if we didn't have a quarterback that was made of glass, I would be very, very excited for this game and giving us a win. And like I said, this is a coin flip. We could definitely get a dub here. I could totally see us getting a win. This is the other coin flip that I have similar to LSU, but I have Texas getting a win here. Maybe that's just me because the last couple games I've been to in the swamp, they've been losses. So I have
Well, here we go. When I look at Texas, look at this schedule. We talked about it before. They open with Ohio State on the road. That'll be a great game. But then look at their schedule before they play us. San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, bye week, Florida. So they pretty much have a whole month to prep for us. Now, here's the deal. They're going to be prepped and ready. They're going to be looking at LSU, USF, Miami film. They're going to be looking at all these film. We're not really going to have good film on Texas we're gonna I mean, the Ohio State game will obviously be a lot, but that's the first game of the year. You evolve after that. Um, that's a big advantage for Texas from a health standpoint. Now, reverse psychology also says that complacency might set in for Texas, meaning if you're playing a month straight of just teams where you're like, we just show up, we win, and then you show up and you win, how are you going to keep that same mentality when you hit some adversity in this Florida game? You know what I mean? Like the previous month, you didn't have to be tested mentally. Maybe you did, who knows? But that is what I think is going to be the advantage for Florida in this game, is that we're coming in this game, we're always high alert, ready to go. When I look at these lineups, Texas got really good linebackers, but the defensive line outside of Simmons, yeah, okay, I'll say Burke and Watson are decent as well, but Simmons is I guess he's going to play like the defensive end, outside linebacker. He's the one guy that really can cause some havoc. And they've got really good linebackers and good DBs. We've got to run that ball in this game. From a defensive side, I think we've got to also, Wingo's a good receiver. Moore's a good receiver. Outside of those two, it's an even matchup. Weisner's a good running back. We're going to have to force some turnovers with Texas. I think we can do that. I think Manning will force the ball a little bit more in this game. I think this game reminds me of the Ole Miss game from the previous year. Texas is pretty much a very, very similar team to that Ole Miss team. The quarterback is almost exactly the same, and the defense is almost exactly the same. But I think we're better. So I'm going to say the Gators are going to come home to the Swamp after the bye week, and we're going to be on cloud 9 after beating number 1 Texas 35-31. Gators in the Swamp.
I like that. I have 20-24 for the score on the loss. But yeah, no, that I agree. I think because like I said, you got to stop the run. I mean, CJ Baxter and Weisner, those are two phenomenal running backs, and so I agree. You gotta make Arch Manning throw to these receivers, and you got to bracket Wingo. Wingo's a scary guy. So we definitely got to do a good job there, and I agree, forcing turnovers is the way to do it, EJ. So I hope so, man. I hope so. If we beat Texas, EJ, you have us as what, number 1 team in the country at this point, right? Easy.
Well, they're gonna pull Penn State out of the morgue and say that they're a higher ranked team than us, but
really,
we're definitely top 2 or 3.
Oh my, dude, the highest I've seen us ranked, I think, was 2020. We were number 4. I think we had the number 4 next to our name, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, is this really happening, dude? Hold up. I like it. All right, next one. At Texas A&M. This is going to be, let me get off of that schedule. This is going to be the week after. I mean, this is unbelievable, dude, this stretch of games. We go to College Station, Texas to play Texas A&M. If half of my predictions right and half of EJ's predictions right, this is going to be another top 10 matchup, which would be unbelievable. You guys already heard me talk about Texas A&M. I have Texas A&M making the playoff and making a run to, I believe, the semis, right? I really like this Texas A&M team going to Kyle Field. Did we win with Billy Napier last time we went to Kyle Field? Because I believe we played at Texas A&M.
Yes, we did. We did beat them with Anthony Richardson, but Texas A&M was they were just a disaster of a team that year.
Yeah.
So we were able to just really run all over them, and he had a couple of great throws. And then they beat us the next year.
Yeah, and then last year I went to the Texas A&M game last year. I saw Marcel Reed just run all over us like it was nothing. I saw we missed tackles like crazy. I know it was a rainy game, it was wet, but golly, dude, we could not tackle that game at all. I remember dude, that was a brutal one. I mean, listen, I already talked about Texas A&M this episode. If you guys want to hear more about it that are just watching the preview video itself, I have Texas A&M, like I said, making the semifinal. I think Texas A&M is going to get a win over Florida here. I think the second loss in a row, Gators need to figure something out. I just don't like. I just don't see us beating Texas and then going to Texas A, or like let's say we do beat Texas, going to Texas A&M the week after. We're going to be hurt. We're going to have some injuries, bro. I'm sorry. We're not going to be a healthy team. At least not super healthy at that point. And I don't like the depth, so I don't like going into Kyle Field at this point. And I think we're going to go into a loss. I think this might be the first like rough loss for the Gators. I think this is probably going to be something similar to maybe 31 to 17, or it's going to be about a 2-score victory for Texas A&M in this game. The Gators are going to have to, they're just going to be, they're going to have to go back and figure stuff out.
Oh, man. Logan, no. What's going on, man? The oil money. Logan, somebody's sending him some oil money.
Hell yeah, brother.
But, here's the deal, guys. I gotta agree with Logan on this one. I'm high on our Gators. I think we're at this point in the season, we're on cloud 9. We're top 2 in the nation. We beat LSU, Miami, and Texas. Put us in the playoff already. I'm telling you right now, there won't be another team with that many quality wins at this point, and we're not even halfway to the season. But we're going to go to Texas A&M. The Aggies, let me see. The Aggies are going to, they're going to have Auburn and Mississippi State before us. So those are going to be warm-up games for them. And then they're playing us. The thing that I don't like about this game is where it sits on the schedule and the type of team Texas A&M is. LSU and Miami and Texas throw the ball 60 to 65% of the time, which means our D-line can come out there and wreak havoc. Remember, Ole Miss and LSU, go back and watch those games. When our defense was doing something, it's because the other team chose to throw the ball more. LSU and Ole Miss, they were just, let's throw it 70% of the time. That allowed our defense to actually be able to get out there and make plays. Texas A&M, they're way more balanced, people. They're 50-50. Their offensive line is the top offensive line in the SEC. This is going to require a team effort. On the defensive side, I don't think we're just going to be too tired. I think the Aggies are going to run that ball. Moss is going to moss us. I think we'll be able to hit some big plays to keep us in the game. But to Logan's point, I just don't like where this game is on the schedule. I got the Aggies. This is our first loss of the season, according to me. And according to Logan, I think we're probably like 0-4 by now.
Yeah.
But I got us winning this or losing this game. Marcel Reed, I think, is just with the power run game plus the quarterback running. It's still gonna be close. But I got Texas A&M 27, Florida 21. Aggies win it.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, Their offensive line. I mean, listen, I'll just do a little recap. I mean, with what I was saying in the last video, just the offensive line. I think that the defense with Mike Elko is going to take a phenomenal step. They were supposed to make they were not supposed to, but they almost made the SEC championship last year, but lost to Texas there in the last game of the year to miss out on the SEC championship. That was Mike Elko's first year, guys. He's going to come in here. He's going to take a major step in this second year. I believe that was his first year, right? This is his second year. He's going to take a major step. Marcel Reed's just going to get better. They're trying to make this passing game more efficient, and I think it's going to get more efficient. I think it's going to be more consistent. They brought in Casey Concepcion, whatever his last name is, from North Carolina State, and a couple other guys too that I think are going to be really, really nice in that passing game for him. Like you said, mixed with already a phenomenal rushing attack with Marcel Reed and Moss, and then of course even Reuben Owens played last year. I remember him. And they have still got EJ Smith there in the on the fourth on the running back depth chart, Emmitt Smith's son. So they got playmakers all over the field. I think it's going to cause a lot of issues. And I think EJ, it's less of that. I think that they're that much more talented. I think it's just where it lies on the schedule, and how balanced
home field
advantage. Kyle Field's going to be popping. I agree. So I have Texas A&M winning that one, or getting a win there. Next game we have the following week, man. We have homecoming for Mississippi State. Yes, sir. Big game here. Gators, obviously, in my opinion, at least for my schedule, they're struggling a little bit. You know what I mean? 2 losses in a row. They need to lock in. For you, they're coming off of their first loss of the season, and they are trying to bounce back against Mississippi State. Mississippi State, I believe Blake Shapen might be coming back as their quarterback this year. I think he's a senior. Their offensive line was absolute trash last year. But they did attack. Dude, they attacked the offensive line and defensive line in the portal so wild. It's crazy. They brought in I think they have a top 20 portal class. And it's not because they picked up a bunch of really, really talented dudes. They just got 50 guys and got 15 for their offensive line, 15 for their defensive line. So some of those are going to hit. So they're going to take a step forward. But so is every other SEC team. So I think they're going to be struggling a little bit at this point in the season. They got some really good defensive pieces. And like I said, on the D-line, the DB room is what I'm really worried about for them, man. I mean, the DBs are going to be struggling again this year. I think they lost some guys, and they weren't even really that great last year. So I think the secondary is going to be brutal. I think it's going to be a big win for the Gators. I think after 2 losses, I think DJ Lagway is going to come in here and just dominate down the field. Then they start having to overcompensate for the pass, and then you're going to have these 2 running backs, Jacoby Jackson and Jaden Ball, running up the middle. I think DJ Lagway is also going to have a big game with his legs here. Maybe the first time this season where he's really, really using his legs in a game. You're gonna see a big game for the Gators. I think it's gonna shock a lot of people with how well they play in this one. And I have the Gators winning big in this game against Mississippi State at home. By the way, in the throwback uniforms too, love it.
Yes, throwback unis. I'll be at that game. Hopefully Logan will be there. Come join us at Halloween Horror Nights. It'll be a very horrific night for Mississippi State. It'll be very scary for them too. Now they do got they got a couple guys on defense that are very highly rated. Whitson and Manning, the DB Manning is pretty good. But I agree. This is a get right game for Florida. I think Mississippi State overmatched in every phase of the game. But the one interesting thing, which is what also makes our schedule difficult, is Mississippi State does have a bye week before they play this game. So every team that we play seems to have a schedule advantage right before they play us. This is another one. Mississippi State has a bye week before they play us. So, with that said, I think we cruise in this game. I got us 42-17. We're just going to be on fire. And I think it's going to be really big. And then Mississippi State scores 10 points late and makes it, even a 42-17 is a big win. It's, probably be a lot worse than that. They got some problems on that left side of the offensive line. Shapen's going to be running for his life. Prayers to Mississippi State. It's not going to be a good year for them.
you got to feel bad, man, for that coach. I mean, coming over from Oklahoma, man, one of the best offensive minds in college football, but bro just came into such a bad situation at a time in college football where it's so hard to build up a small SEC school, you know. So you got to feel bad for the guy. But yeah, both got a win there, man. Now we have another bye week. We could take a little break coming off of a win. We can kind of chill out for a little bit and prepare for the Georgia Bulldogs on November 1st in Jacksonville, Florida. 3:30 as always. It's a big game, EJ. Big one here, man. Georgia, I think, is going to be pretty highly ranked, obviously, at this point, man. Gunnar Stockton is going to be, we'll see what he's doing at this point. He's going to be the starter quarterback for them. Big question for Georgia on offense. Couple big questions. Number one, how good is their offensive line going to be? They lost a lot of guys. They didn't really go into the portal to get a lot of guys to come in. So what's that offensive line going to look like? I don't think they're going to be bad, but there's a chance they're just going to be a little above average, right? Is that going to be enough for them to beat Florida? Is that going to be enough for them to beat Texas and some of these other teams on their schedule? That's the big question we have. Now, obviously, they've been recruiting very, very well. It's all 5 stars and highly 4 stars on this offensive line. I get that. But it's interesting that they didn't hit the portal as hard as I thought they would. So that's an interesting thing from Kirby. Other big question, running the football. Can Georgia run the football this year? They were not even in the top 25 or top 30 in running the ball last year. They struggled throughout the year with that. So, you know, you're going to have to run the ball with Gunnar Stockton back there. I'm not big on him. I know he showed a lot of heart in the playoff last year. I understand that. But he's not a guy that I'm fully invested in just yet. But I do think that if you have a nice run game and you have a nice balanced attack, I think that he can be pretty nasty back there if he's comfortable and the pressure's not fully on his shoulders. The linebacker group for this team is unbelievable. But yeah, also too on offense, Zachariah Branch is coming in and Noah Thomas from A&M at the wide receiver position. So Gunnar Stockton will have people to throw to, just something else to throw out there. But yeah, the defense should be pretty nasty as always. They also brought in another offensive thing here. They brought in Josh McCray, running back from Illinois. Dude was actually very good last year. Yeah. Just someone to they're really trying to work on this run game. So yeah, that's the big thing for me. I think the defense will be good. I'm not too worried about that. A lot of new guys that we're going to see on that defense, a lot of new faces. But it's Kirby Smart. I mean, you know, how bad are they going to be there? But yeah, big question for me is this offense. And I believe Mike Bobo still there?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's going to be even more interesting then. So I know Georgia fans aren't happy about that. So my pick for this game, I think the Gators are going to get their revenge. I think DJ Lagway is going to be fully healthy for this game. I think he's going to go in there. I think he's going to get a win. I think this is going to be the first game that DJ Lagway struggles in a little bit. I think that Kirby Smart's going to do a very good job on scheming his defense around DJ. I think we're going to be a little beat up in some positions as well, maybe on the offensive line. And so I think that DJ is going to struggle, but I think our defense will do enough with Gunnar Stockton and with stopping that run game to where it's a good defensive battle. And now Florida coming on top 23-20.
Ooh. Yeah, this is the first game where you really want to win this game, guys. You just got to win this game. This is the Napier. You got to win this game, buddy. You had an excuse last year because, you know, Lagway went out with the injury. You could hear, you know, a feather drop on the pavement outside in the parking lot. This is a game where Kirby Smart typically wins at being able to come up with a strategy. What is our plan to win? And the thing about Napier is it doesn't really ever seem like there's a strategy. You know what I mean? This is the first game where you can't play checkers. You're going to have to play chess and go for the jugular to win this game. And Georgia's depth on the defense is tremendous. And so it'll be interesting to figure out what Florida comes up with to counter that. But I still think Florida's going to be able to run the ball on Georgia. And I think Florida will be able to have play action pass. Um, I think this is going to be a game that's going to go back and forth. I think Georgia's going to control it for the majority of the game. But I got DJ Lagway getting the ball late, getting Florida in position, and Trey Smackdat is going to hit the game-winning field goal. And I think the Gators have a big-time upset in this game. 27-24. Upset in Jacksonville. Storm the field.
I like it.
Will they fine us if this is not? Hey, you can't fine us. You know why? It's not a home game. Storm the field, kick the field goal. Gators beat Georgia.
I like it. I like it. We both agree there, man. Next week, we have a game that I hate this game every single year, man. I don't even want to play them anymore. We have Kentucky at Kentucky. Beat them pretty handily last year. Was also at that game. Really fun one there. Kentucky, 35th in the country in returning production. Had one of the worst offenses in the country last season. They really, really struggled. But they have some key pieces coming back on that side of the ball. And some good portal additions like quarterback Zach Calzada, the old Texas A&M quarterback, I believe, and running back Dante Dowell from Nebraska, which is a good addition at running back, by the way. So I think that they're going to be okay there. They got some good wide receiver pieces as well in the portal, and the offensive line looks like they can be average. Defensively, they were pretty mid last year. Kind of, it's always the case with Mark Stoops. But they did get some really solid guys from the portal on that side of the ball, especially on the defensive line. And I think the defensive back room will also be. I think the D line will be good. I think the front seven will be solid. I think the secondary for Kentucky is really going to be the deciding factor on some games if they win or lose. So can some of those guys step up? I think that's going to be the big question for Kentucky. I'm not worried about the offense. I'm a little scared going to Lexington this time of the year. It's cold. I don't like it. Kentucky fans are annoying. There's a lot going on there. But I do think that we get the win. I think that this is going to be a very close game, especially coming off of Georgia. I think this is going to be a hard-fought one. I think Kentucky might even be winning going into the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be one of those, we always have that weird away game every year where it's like, what is going on? The guys aren't fully awake. It used to always be like Vanderbilt or Kentucky or someone, right? Or Missouri, And I think that Kentucky, that's going to be the game this year. I think Florida is going to come out on top. Very similar to the last game. I think they're going to win 24-20.
Beautiful pick. I 100% agree. This game scares the living crap out of me just because every time we play Kentucky, it's like, what are we doing out there? It's a weird. Do we normally play Kentucky this late in the season? I always, maybe we do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's usually earlier, but here's the deal. This is a big time trap game for us. Kentucky is frisky at home in November, like you said. And I really like the Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's strength is their defensive line. Okay. They got 3 guys on this defensive line that are just, they're not like super incredible, but they're veterans and they're really, really just solid, highly rated. Great tackling defensive line, get underneath blocks. They're not overly huge, so they are going to be tough to keep you from running around them. Like this Humphrey Grace guy, only 265, but this guy is a high draft grade right now. So here's the deal. Who's got the better quarterback? Who's got the better defense? I think it's Florida in this game. Kentucky's going to try to win this game through forcing turnovers and field position. That's the only way. But I think if we can hit a couple big plays and you get a 10.2 possession lead on Kentucky, the game's over. So I think we do that and we fend and hold them off. I got 31-23. Weird score, but I think it's going to be close. We hold them off. We win against in Kentucky, and they're drinking some bourbon because bourbon. 95% of bourbon comes from the great state of Kentucky. I don't know if anyone knew that.
I like it. A scary game, but a win for both of us at Kentucky there. I believe following week, November 15th, a game that I want to go to but probably won't. At Ole Miss, we're going to Oxford, to the Grove, baby. Ole Miss, a team that the offense is kind of a big question for me. Obviously, you have Austin Simmons back there at quarterback, a guy that has probably some of the best arm talent in the country, if not the best. It's unbelievable. He's the guy that just has to work on putting touches on his balls, right? Because he wants to throw bullets down the center every single play. But great arm talent, also mobile when he needs to be. An old Gator commit, by the way. Just a little fun fact there. They added some good running backs from the portal and got some good, but they did lose a lot of receivers. So you have Caden Lee, which is their main receiver. Dude's very, very good. But you don't just want to fully rely on him to obviously be the main guy there in the wide receiver room. So who's going to step up as a good target for Austin Simmons? He's going to need as a young guy. The defense is interesting too. They got a lot of new faces, but they're absolutely loaded. I mean, this is, I believe, in the number 4 transfer portal class in the country. And so they got a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not worried about that. I think they're going to be gritty like they always have been. They got some good pass rushers as well there, and some guys in the secondary as well. So I think Ole Miss is going to be kind of a middle SEC team. I think they're a team that can beat anyone. I think they're a team that can struggle, heavily though throughout the season as well. I think we're just a year early on them. So I do think it's going to be a win for Florida. I think it's going to be one of Florida's best road performances. I think they're going to go in there. I think they're going to play fairly well at this point of the year. Might be a little chilly, but I do think they're going to go in there and get a win 31-20.
All right. So I got us at 8-1 so far in the season. We're doing a great job, Gator fans. We're rolling. We're on cloud 9. 8-1. Are you kidding me? We should be number 1. Lane Kiffin. He's going to find a way to scrap something together. And this is one of those games where you're always going to have a game where nothing seems to go your way. Okay? And Ole Miss, this is another schedule situation here. They play Citadel before us. So they got pretty much a bye week. And I think Lane Kiffin is pissed that he lost to us last year. Not because it was Florida, but because it was the game that pretty much cemented Napier as, okay, we've got confidence in Napier. We're firing Napier. We're bringing in, everyone wanted to hire Lane Kiffin. Even me, I admit it. And Lane Kiffin is pissed. And if there's one thing that Ole Miss has that's very similar to the Texas A&M game, they're going to have balance. That's how you beat this Florida team. You can't go out there throwing the ball 80% of the time. You got to run, dump, run, deep bomb. And that's what Ole Miss is going to bring to the table. And this is going to be a frustrating game. Triple overtime. Okay? And Ole Miss finds a way to pull off an upset. And we're crying. We can't believe we lost this game. Ole Miss gets the upset. I'm going triple overtime. 35-31. We kick a... No. Wait. How do you win in overtime if it's 35-31? 34-31. Okay. 34-31.
Well, it's I thought it's like 2-point conversion, so would it be...
Oh, yeah.
32-34, something like that.
38-36. We missed the 2-point conversion. Okay. That's how they beat us. Here's the deal. I like the Ole Miss defensive line. I think they lost a lot of guys, but they brought in some guys. Striblings. People aren't talking about Stribling. Wide receiver. They're going to have somebody. And every time it seems like we sack Austin Simmons, he runs around and gets a first down, and it's going to be that type of game. Ole Miss gets the upset, and we, unfortunately, are crying.
That hurts. That hurts. Next game we have the following week is going to be Tennessee, baby. They're coming to the Swamp. We're back in the Swamp after not being there for like almost a month. Over a month, actually. And we'll be back in the Swamp. Tennessee, Joey Aguilar, the starting quarterback from UCLA, leading the offense. He came from, App State over to UCLA and now here to Tennessee. He's a guy who is so good, but he's always struggled with turnovers. Well, good news. You're going into a system with Josh Heupel that is great with turnovers. With quarterbacks, it's really hard to turn over a ball in this offense. It's a very easy offense for a quarterback. Very quarterback friendly offense. Everyone's super spread out. It's easy to read defenses and what formation they're in right from when you snap the ball because everyone has to go to their zones. So yeah, I think he's going to find a lot of success in this offense. I've talked about how big I am on Tennessee this year. Do I think they're going to make the playoff or anything like that? No, but I think they're going to be a dangerous little team. What scares me about their offense is the wide receiver. They don't have any big guys at wide receiver that really jump out at me. Their offensive line should be good enough though, where I'm not too worried about that room there. But the wide receivers, man, we need to have some people for Joey to throw to here. And they return enough on defense that I think they're still going to be a fucking phenomenal team. Truly. They return a lot of their guys. And obviously they had such a nasty top 10 defense, top 5 defense, I would say, last year. They're returning a lot of those guys back, got some guys from the portal. So I think that they're going to be a solid defense this year. And they also have running back Star Thomas from Duke, a guy who's going to be in that backfield, obviously, with some of their guys leaving to the NFL. And he's a guy who's solid and doesn't fumble. You can rely on him not to fumble the football. So I think they're really zoning in on this team this year of, hey, let's just be good this year. We're not expecting a national championship or a playoff run. But if we can be a good team that doesn't turn over the ball, we can stay in a lot of these games and surprise a lot of people. I think that's what they're going to do when they come to the Swamp. I think Tennessee's going to come in the Swamp. I think this is another coin toss game. It's a very close game. I think it's an offensive shootout. And even with how good this Tennessee defense is, I think DJ is going to find some kind of something there in that secondary to and I think just that bounce is going to throw Tennessee off. But I think Tennessee's gonna win this game. I think they're gonna upset Florida, second last game of the season. Listen, I hate Tennessee. I hate Tennessee, dude. But this is another team like LSU, right, EJ? That it's always been weird every single year we played them, right? We really don't know what to expect from Tennessee when we play them. We don't know what to expect from us when we play them. Really rough games in a row. Something just happened. I think we're still streaming. There we go. Okay, cool. We're back now. That was strange. But yeah, I do have Tennessee getting a win over the Gators in the Swamp. And now the Gators have I think 4 losses for me. And it's rough. It's rough, but I do have Tennessee getting the win in the Swamp.
Boo!
I know.
Sorry, we don't like to boo Logan, but
I deserve it.
This is what happens. So here's the deal. It's not totally surprising that you pick Tennessee. I think Tennessee's got a good little team, but I think from a storyline standpoint, we're coming off a loss. Oh, here's another. You remember how every team has an advantage schedule-wise? Ole Miss plays Citadel before us, basically a bye week. Tennessee plays New Mexico State before us, basically a bye week. So, again, folks, you got to look at these things. Everybody has basically a bye week before they play us. So, anyway, Tennessee, we're going into this game. It's senior night. The Swamp's going to be rocking. And the Gator fans are going to be pissed that we lost to Ole Miss. I just think the Tennessee style of play, when you look at what they try to do, they actually are they run the ball a lot more than what they seem, since they're always in 4 wide and these really long splits. I just don't think that they will have enough firepower to beat us. I think Tennessee is a worse team than they were last year, and I think we're a better team than we were last year. Now they do have that one defensive end, Josephs. That's we got to figure linebacker. We got to figure out how to slow him down.
Yep.
But I think Austin Barber can negate him. And then when you look at their offense, their offensive line is not that great. They're going to have to get the ball out of Aguilar's hands quickly, which they, quick pass to the sideline. We're going to figure that out. Bishop's a pretty good little running back, but we're going to lock him down. I have the Gators winning this one pretty by 2 touchdowns, 31-17. I think Lagway has a great performance, and everyone's saying Heisman invitation after this game. Gators beat the Vols.
There you go. I like it. Well, that means the Gators are cooking going into this last week for Florida State. Another home game in a row. We love to see it. FSU's coming to the Swamp, baby. Florida State, 40th in returning production, lose most of their offense. Thomas Castellanos, I believe, comes in from Boston College, a guy who quit on his team, by the way. He says he didn't, but he definitely did because they benched him, and then a couple days later, he just left the team last year. Now, he is a guy who is actually very good. He's a quarterback who he's not much taller than me. He's 5'9". He's a small dude, but bro ran for 1,000 yards in the 2023 season and threw for like over 2,500. He can throw the rock around, and he has some legs. And so as a quarterback, he can win some games almost single-handedly. Now, he's just a guy to look out for there. Turnovers have always kind of been a problem for him, though. Now, last year, before he got benched, he didn't have many turnovers. That was actually kind of the storyline, is, hey, he's not turning the ball over as much, but they still went 0-3 to start the season, and that's why he got pulled. Now, defensively, the line should be solid, but not really much better than last year. I do like their linebackers, though, in their secondary. I think they added some nice pieces from the portal. I think Florida State will take a step forward. They're not going to go 2-10 this year, but I do think they're still going to be kind of a 7-5, 6-6 type team that is going to struggle throughout the season. But I do like Thomas, whatever. I'm not going to try to say his last name. I do like him as a quarterback, but a guy that quit on his team, it's going to be interesting, right? Is he going to be a good team player for this Florida State team, a team that is kind of made up of a lot of transfer portal guys? That's going to be the storyline this season for Florida State. I think the Gators, especially because, like I said, I think we lose to Tennessee. I think we come in here. I think we're angry. We're not happy. This is a rival game. This is the last game of the year. We want to step up and do something. I think the Gators are going to go in here. I think they're going to get a win over Florida State. I think it's going to be one of the best performances of the year. I think our defense is going to absolutely dominate. I think Tommy Castellanos, whatever, is going to kind of go back to that 2023 year when he threw like 13, 14 picks. I think he's going to go in. I think he's going to throw a lot of interceptions. I think we're going to really step up in this game and get a win over Florida State, 34-17.
Beautiful pick. We're coming off of hey, we beat Tennessee. We're riding high. Hey, FSU, they play at NC State before they play us. So guess what? They don't have a cupcake. But here's the deal. Here's the commentary. FSU, your season, you're cooked. It's over. You're playing for pride in this stage of the season. The Gators are 9-2 at this point. We're thinking to ourselves, hey, we're top 6 in the nation. And now we got to play FSU? No. This is chopped liver. It's kind of like you see those jungle videos where the lion is like trying to find their prey. And then the wildebeest is like, uh-oh, you're coming for me. I got to get out of here. And they're not quick enough. That's how this game's going to be. Rivalry beat down. But just so everyone does hear it from me, I do think Florida State, at least from a player by player standpoint, they did put some guys in there on their team that should be able to do something. Secondary, Wilson, this guy, Jerry Wilson, safety is pretty good. But outside of that, I don't like this defensive secondary. I don't like their running game, which I think you're going to need for Castellanos. You can't just run him all the time. And that's the other thing. Is Castellanos the personality, like you were saying, to lead the team that everyone's going to buy into? Think about the difference between him and Lagway, right? Lagway is always wanted to be a Gator. He grew up in Texas, but he watched Tim Tebow. He's born and raised to bleed orange and blue. He can't see himself anywhere else. Castellanos is just chasing the dollar, people. And hey, FSU needed somebody, throw him in there. Gators. What's my final score prediction? Gators 38, Seminoles 10. Easy win.
I like it. So you're in and off the season 10-2 and a playoff berth around the number 9? You said number 7 seed, kind of around there. Playing, or 8 seed, I think, playing Oregon. So we're either going to host Oregon, right, or go to Eugene. So that's going to be interesting. I have us in the season 8-4. I think injuries are going to play a part in this season. And look, I just threw in that Tennessee game. I don't like it. There's something about it. It's playing Tennessee that late. It was always the third Saturday in October. Why the hell are we playing them in late November? It makes no sense. You know what I mean? I just don't like that they're that far back. But yeah, you know what? I like your number a lot more. If we can have a good 10 wins, man, I'd be a happy guy. But I think injuries, we don't have the depth. I don't think we have the depth, and you're going to see that a little bit in these last couple games, especially against Tennessee, I think, with that run game that you were talking about. But there you go. That's going to be our final prediction. I have 8-4, 9-4 in a bowl game. You have 10-2. I love it, EJ. So you guys let us know what's your record prediction for the Gators this year. Go game by game. Why do you think we're going to be whatever you say? And why do you think that we're wrong? If you think we are wrong, let us know in the comment section down below, man. EJ, I do have to get somewhere here soon. So if you want to go ahead and run through these week 1 picks.
Yes,
we're going to
run through them.
This is just like pick'ems. So I have the spreads written down. We'll go through the spreads as well. But we are going to be basing this. We pick 10 games every week. There's a lot of big games in here. There's also a lot of random games that I know nothing about these teams. I think it's fun just to add those in there just to see what happens and see if we're right or wrong. So let's go ahead and start with Nebraska, who is favored by 6.5 at Cincinnati. How do you feel about that, EJ?
Ooh, okay. So my confidence level is very high on this one. Corn Huskers. Rolling. Dylan, do they still have Ravioli?
Ravioli? Yep, Ravioli.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ravioli. I love Ravioli. He's going to be eating. Nebraska cover at Cincinnati.
Same here. I got them getting the win there. I do think this is a fun first game, though, for Nebraska. You know what I mean? It's not like an easy cupcake for them, but in Cincy, obviously feeling the loss of Luke Fickell, obviously now at Wisconsin. But yeah, I have Nebraska going in there, man. I think it's the third year for Matt Rule now with Nebraska. I think they're going to take a big step forward. I think they're going to be a good little team this year, so keep an eye out for Nebraska. I think they're going to get a win at Cincy, and I think they'll probably cover. Next game, Auburn, favored by 2.5 at Baylor. This is a fun one.
Ooh. Oh, man. Okay. Very low confidence. Very low confidence in this one. Okay. Baylor's a lot better than people think. Okay. You think just because they're SEC coming in there. I think Hugh Freeze still got some question marks. Baylor's at home. Apparently they're going to do a blackout. I don't know. At least that's what I read. Dave Aranda. Y'all remember him? He knows how to beat some Tigers. Baylor, 27. Auburn, 24. Baylor, upset.
You know what's wild? I actually picked that as an upset, but like as my initial thought, but I don't know, man. You know, the big question is can Dave Aranda fix his Baylor defense, right? They were absolute trash last year. And they were like 80th or something, or 80th. It was wild. And because their offense is going to be good, right? So will they? I don't know. I think they will as the season goes on. Not the first game, though. I think Auburn's going to go in there, even though they said that they're going to play 3 quarterbacks, apparently, because Jackson Arnold looks like, I don't know, he's not great, apparently. But I do trust Hugh Freeze here. I think Auburn's going to get the win. Maybe not 2.5. I think they might cover and win by 3. It's going to be it's probably going to be game of the weekend, or one of the games of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Keep an eye out for that one. I'm really excited for that game. Next one, we have South Carolina favored by 8 against Virginia Tech here in Atlanta.
Oh, it's in Atlanta?
Yeah, it's a neutral site. Yep.
Okay. So let me see here. I have my notes on this pick. You know, this is a good game for South Carolina to warm up. You know, I think Virginia Tech is a good, decent opponent. But I just think South Carolina is going to be too wild and crazy. I think Lenore Sellers, people are saying he's really good. But the difference between him and Lagway is Sellers, he doesn't seem to get hurt. I mean, you run the guy over with the truck, he gets right back up. South Carolina rolls over Virginia Tech, beat down. 2 touchdowns, 34-20.
I agree. I like that score a lot. Yeah, I mean, Sellers, the big thing about Virginia Tech is they're kind of a ball possession, time possession type team. They like to run the ball a lot. I do think that they're going to be a little bit better than what they were last year. I think Drones is coming back as their quarterback. But yeah, South Carolina is going to be too much, man. I think they're going to be a really, really good team this year, and Sellers is going to go off in this game. And I think just the explosiveness for South Carolina is what's really going to separate them in this game. I got South Carolina getting the win there here in Atlanta. Next game we have is Temple, favored by 2.5 at Massachusetts.
Temple versus Massachusetts. Have no idea about these teams. Very low confidence here. But here's the deal, people. They got Temple favored. It's in massive 2 shits. I'm going UMass. Upset. Temple. Hey.
Nice. I like it.
Let's see what happens. UMass 21. Temple 17.
Nice, dude. Listen, I was actually gonna pick UMass to get the win there, but I gotta go with Temple. I know nothing about these teams, but we're gonna go with Temple. I'm just gonna pick opposite of you. Someone's gonna win. Next one we have is Coastal Carolina at Virginia. Virginia favored by 12.
Oh. Okay. 12 points it's a lot for a Virginia team. Hey, they turned it on a little bit last year. They were overmatched in some of these games. Mid confidence. I'll go Virginia. 28-21. Coming off a 3-8 season. Tony Elliott, head coach. You're on the hot seat, buddy. You can't lose this game. Coastal Carolina lost a lot of people. Virginia, hey. Thomas Jefferson. Remember Thomas Jefferson. Virginia wins 28-21.
I like it. I don't think they're going to cover either, but I do have Virginia winning for that reason. Like you said, man, he has to get a win here coming off of that season, and Coastal Carolina is not the same Coastal as they were a while ago. So I do like that pick a lot. I got Virginia. Next one we have TCU, favored by 3 at North Carolina.
Oh, Bill Belichick hype is real, but this is college, not the NFL, people. TCU. Let me tell you something. They got a lot of money going on TCU. UNC, I looked this up, 2-10 against the spread last year. Horned Frogs, more talent. Horned Frogs, cover, 28-21. North Carolina, tail between their legs. Caught with the pants on the ground. TCU gets the win.
Might not be the NFL, but Bill Belichick still knows how to connect with 24-year-olds. I think he's got a good team here. I think he's going to go in there and get a win, baby. Let's go, Bill. Let's make it happen, baby. I do agree. TCU's a smarter pick, but I'm going to follow the Bill Belichick hype. And for my boy, Matty, who's a crew member on Sweet Magnolias, man. He's a big North Carolina fan. He's been hyping this up.
Okay,
Next game.
Okay, Maddie.
Let's go, Matty. Yes, sir. California at Oregon State. Oregon State favored by 3.
Oh. All right. So let me tell you something. What state am I in, Logan?
Cali.
We're in Cali. I don't know anyone who lives in Oregon. Cal gets the win. Upset. 24-23.
Great pick. Great pick, man. I like that a lot. You know why I like that pick? Because I really like this freshman quarterback that California has. Dude's really, really talented. Can run, can throw the ball. He's he's a very dynamic passer. I like California because of that freshman quarterback. I like that pick a lot, EJ. Next one we have is Notre Dame favored by 2.5 at Miami.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Here's the bottom line. Notre Dame, they should be more capable. However, Carson Beck, people doubting this kid. He comes in. He got the Ferrari and the girlfriend. That's all you need. Miami, upset. Notre Dame, opener. 31-27. Canes get the win.
Man, my heart's telling me to pick Miami, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to go with Notre Dame here. I think Notre Dame's going to, really, I feel like it's weird that Notre Dame is favored by 2.5. I feel like Miami, you would think would be favored. But I don't know. I think Notre Dame's going to go in there. I think they're going to get a win. I think CJ Carr, I like him a lot as a QB. I got Notre Dame getting the win over Miami, baby. Go Irish. Next one we have LSU at Clemson. Clemson favored by 4 in Death Valley. Which, either the real one, fake one, however you view it.
All right, guys. So here's the deal. This is the Brian Kelly revenge game. LSU got more talent. Your offensive line isn't going to be that great, but give me Nussmeier over Klubnik.
Klubnik, yep.
Klubnik. Hey, I like that name. Tigers beat the Tigers. They cover 28-24. LSU wins.
They get the upset. I like it. I got Clemson. I think Clemson's too good. LSU doesn't know how to win openers, and I think that's just going to keep going on this year. Next one we have Texas at Ohio State. Ohio State favored by 1.5.
Let me tell you something. If you're the underdog and you're the number 1 ranked team, historically, you should pick the number 1 team, and you win money. So guess what? I'm winning money. I'm picking Texas. Arch Manning will outduel Super Saiyan. Give me Texas. Upset on the road, even though you're number 1. 27-24.
I like it. But you're wrong, EJ. We got Ohio State getting the win, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In Columbus. I don't think Texas is going to come into Columbus and get a win. I just don't see that happening. I think especially Ohio State coming off of what they did last year. There's a lot of stuff going on there. 2 new quarterbacks, even though Arch Manning does have more experience than Julian Sayin. But I do think that just that home field and environment, it's gonna be a great environment, man. The home field advantage, I think, has Ohio State winning. I think that they cover. I think they probably win by 3 points, maybe 6 points. But I do have Ohio State winning it. So there you go.
Well, remember, Texas went on the road and beat defending national champ last year. They're going to go 2-0 this year.
We'll see.
Longhorns.
We'll see, baby. It's going to be a fun one, though, either way, man. Great helmet game, too. But there's going to be our week 1 picks, guys. You guys let us know your picks down below. Everyone watching, you guys let us know, man. Yeah, we're going to keep tally of this every single week and add it up at the end of the year. Last year, we were neck and neck, me and EJ. I think he won by like 2 games or something. It was so close last year. And he got the best.
I needed the last. What did we add the bowl games in there?
I don't think we added the bowl games. I just think we did.
Okay, yeah, I needed the last weekend to come out on top against you.
It was wild. No, literally came down to the last. It was insane. So we'll see what happens this year. We have a lot of opposite picks, so it's gonna get off to a wild little start here, EJ.
Yeah, this is a wild start.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. But there you guys go, man. We appreciate you guys. College football is back. Can't wait for you guys, man, to enjoy yourselves, man. We can't wait to enjoy ourselves. It's gonna be a great time, man. It's finally here. The wait is over. Go Gators. EJ, any last words?
Go Gators. Can't wait for this season to kick off. If you're going to any of these Gator games, let us know in the comments down below, and we will all see you there. I'll be at the USF game. Holler at me.
Yes, sir. Love you guys, man. Everyone stay safe.